Well, it's very similar to our first game.
Yeah.
Where we kick off with a club, and it's kind of like, does this really favor a team?
I mean, club...
I don't believe that club favors a team. That's just me, because I feel as though if you can't play club at this stage, what are you doing?
Probably not Siege. If you come to club and you're not clubbing, what's the point? I want to confirm with the audience, Demo has removed his jacket. Sorry.
I just thought I need a bit more mobility.
You need the mobility.
I need a bit more, you know.
You got to be active.
That's it.
It's the, you know, it's the joy of it. Anyway, we get standard. We get standard Siege, we get a double heart breach ban, and we get wall denial and mirror. Hey, look at that. It's Siege. It's Clubhouse, right?
Does leave the shields open, though, which always going to be a bit of an issue in the current meta. Really, any of them. I mean, all four. We've seen use of, we've seen them be utilized to some capacity. But here we are, straight into the basement. I mean, no surprises, really, I think, to kick things off down here. Typically, teams will go for the extension. The fact that I see the castle, straight away, I'm thinking SSG room. You know, the classic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get yourself up towards the top floor, play with the space, make the map big. As you said, the castle is a big sort of indicator of that, but then if you're playing alongside it, you've got the Valkyrie to lead in information. The Kaid is sort of the split on that, though.
I find it interesting that they're going to attempt the SSG-style roam, where you want to control areas such as bar and then also in towards the top floor. But a lot of teams will leave the hatches open to allow defenders to rotate back into sight. As you can see, they have reinforced both the Moto and the kitchen hatch. So the roamer's up there. The only way they can get back to sight, I mean, it's down the staircases, which can be held and cut off quite easily by a lot of the attackers.
So, let's see if a team of once great can go up against up-and-coming greats and if they can hit their heads. As we sort of said before, obviously Black Dragon's getting towards this position. They had to remove some of the greatest players in that route, in that path, and here on the other side of it, Dplus Kia going into a new region, trying to find success as a sort of export team. It comes with all the questions and the questions of credentials as well that it can do, but again, it's the history of these players and how long they've sort of knocked on the door of the top. They're going to try and knock on the door of Jacuzzi, get themselves in, try and just cut across, right? They're limiting that tall play. They're limiting that expression of it, and with the quick work of Blackbeard as well, making friends with Kiba barricades, but not with the players themselves. They have all just hightailed it back down towards the site, apart from Bullet, who's drifting around in stock.
Yeah, pretty early drop-off. I wouldn't say that there was a massive amount of pressure being applied to those top floor roamers, but maybe they think, you know, we've wasted enough. Let's just go back. We'll fall back onto the fact that we have got the hatches caded. Yeah, we've got Goyos too that we can utilize in the end game. So overall, for Dplus, it's not a bad idea. So the pressure now shifts over to Black Dragons, where we know they need to get a move on. It's going to be coming down to the clock.
Well, here's the first test of the clock, getting themselves an opening around the hatch itself, and hopefully getting the hatch itself, but it's Bullet. Gets Miracle, as I said, he was the one man who sort of stuck around a little bit longer, and he's been able to net a result from it. There goes the Thatcher, there goes some of the slow on towards the approach itself, and now there goes even more in their pockets. Down to the bottom of main stairs, and they're about to meet a firing line. Several bodies, several angles, and with the openings on the pipe wall as well, well, there's nowhere else you can really go. This all seems pretty set up here for Dplus Kia to just keep it locked down. They don't need to overextend. They don't need to stretch their legs. They can sit and wait, and there's still work to be done, and yada yada. The C4 ready, lined up, wants to loosen. Instead, just going to turn into a hot drop on towards the hatch itself. Looks at the cross, gets caught by the dirt player. There's the C4 over the top. As I said, it was set up for success, and success is suddenly a double for Swag. 20 seconds. They have a Hibana, they have a Buck, they have 3 flash grenades, they don't have a kit. Do they have a chance?
Oh, there's a peek, but had the flashbang out of his hand, and again, everyone knows what they're watching for, and yeah, Fowls picks up an easy one, and from the hatch, Bullet with another. Nice, easy, simple. Simple more than anything. That's how I describe that round. You start off in the roam, you very quickly come back to site, and you just play off the util. Another thing to mention as well, we've actually got 2 former teammates up against one another here.
Yeah.
And that is in the form of Miracle up against Fowls.
I mean, it's the...
Do you know what team that was with? This is really testing your knowledge here, isn't it? You should know this.
Okay.
Did you cast at them?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. As in, you cast them in Europe. Oh, that is a... The lights are on, but there's nobody home.
I was... Okay.
Team Secret.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, Team Secret, just again, I just find this fascinating. Team Secret 2022, a team consisting of Savage, Grubby, You, Poor Fowls, and Miracle are all at this event, but on different teams.
Right.
The way the world works.
Okay.
You know, and don't forget that team didn't do too hot in that league either, so...
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've all made it here one way or another.
10 seconds left.
Get a reunion for that. That'd be great. Get
them all together.
a team reunion.
5 seconds
And Matt, well, the thing is, this is, we're sort of highlighting at the very start of it, and to be honest, the reason I like the comment about me, lights are on, no one's home, because it's not the first time that's
I use that whenever teams set up a site and they've just left the site open. Just about.
blonde moment. Oh, goodbye. The lights were on, somebody was home, but he got shot in the face. Bullet didn't have the same entry success as he did in the previous round, and that is your keeper carrier gone super early.
Yeah, not great.
Towards the round, but also the man who made the entry. There's a response, Mr. Outlaw. Anyway, the point I was sort of looking into. Oh! I'm just going to stop talking about my point. My point's gone. Nears, fars, wherever you are in the afterlife. Absolutely bodied off of that swing. Now they can put some quick pressure onto CC. The pace we have got to this point, insane.
Brazil. That's the way I'll describe it. Like, come on, you should be used to this at this stage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, at the moment, 3v5. Attackers have got all the util in the world to utilize. Again, going to try and just work their way through all of the kind of basics. Need to get that main breach open, though. That's probably the next thing they need to look at. So Jacuzzi, a bit of pressure needs to be applied towards that side of the map. But everything else is just gearing up for what you'd expect, being a gym window jump in. There are a couple of traps located on the windows there from the Denari, so that may be something that they have to take note of and clear out, and they do have a couple of nades that they can utilize to do so. And here, actually, one of the traps actually just caught that drone.
That's it. Caught the drone, caught a bit of a slow, and might slow them down a bit. Obviously, as I said, it was quick to get to that position. Great bit of pocket utility removed there. Getting rid of the lasers just on the other side, but the grenade into the depth will get rid of the shield. Make sure nobody can swing on towards the back of it. Turning, peppering, pre-firing, and preoccupied by a bulletproof for a second, but it's not going to slow them down too much. Instead, finally getting themselves thrown in and ready to rock and roll on towards Jim. We can hear a bit of destruction, though.
So it looks like they're not even going to go for Jacuzzi breach. It's just straight in through the window.
Straight in through the window, go for the plant. Ask is putting pressure on the back stairs, drawing all the attention, though. There's at least the drop on towards the planter. Falls, gets Miracle, and now, suddenly, this timer starts to become very ominous. They have themselves still control of Logi. They have a bit of pressure on towards the stairs. Levi swings onto Ask. There is suddenly all popping up. Dplus Kia! Turn it on, but... I mean, where, oh where did Black Dragons go?
They used all the Habana pellets on the side of the map that they basically cleared out by themselves without needing to use util. They used 18 pellets on the cache breach. Server breach. What? Like, for what reason, I do not know.
Cautela, tá ligado? Tipo, a gente demorou demais a caçar no quarto no último round, e agora 5v3, tá ligado? Tipo, mesmo esquema daquele 4v2 do trem, lembra? Tipo assim, sem objetividade, tá ligado? Tipo assim, não é só quebrar o Denari, entrar e plantar a janela bangando o banheiro e, tipo, cravando o taco. Então por que a gente tá enrolando tanto pra fazer o bagulho mais simples, tá ligado? Tipo assim, que isso, viado? Tipo assim, a gente só literalmente tem que acalmar, acelerar os steps, tá ligado? E não, tipo assim, colocar um peso a mais nas paradas, tá ligado? Por quê? Por que a gente tá com, tipo, esse excesso de cautela? Tipo, primeiro jogo, tranquilo, primeiro mapa da MD3, tá ligado? Nada justifica isso, tá ligado? Quero que vocês acalmem e também prestem atenção no nosso plano, tá ligado? Ressaltar as coisas principais. Que o cara pode lurkear no bombo de baixo pra todo mundo já ficar atento, que a gente ficou 30 segundos sem olhar rotate, a gente pegar o green que eu pedi, a gente não pegou até agora, tá ligado? Então, tipo assim, coloca isso na cabeça.
Beleza. Perfeito. Valeu.
Vou voltar no server aí.
I'll tell you now,
Okay.
Eminem has competition. He spoke, I don't know what he said, but he just regurgitated a strap book.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but you need the ferocity. I said it. We made a bit of it. We took our jackets off. We said it's going to heat up. It's going to heat up, right? You need that tenacity. You need that fire. Because you know that team on the other side is going to have the same thing. They're going to have that pace. They're going to want to apply it. It was super quick for those first 2 kills. But Dplus Kia want that game as well. And even if they win or lose it, they've still got that backline. They're still in that position of power. And,
10 seconds to
you
go.
know, this is the risk for the second map. That second map is a permaban of Black Dragons that Dplus Kia have put into. What happens if this falls away and you're on your permaban?
The same thing we said about Heretics earlier on. You know, if you lose the map that you're supposed to be good on because you've picked it, knowing that map number 2 is a map that you are not great at, it's going to cause issues. Obviously, Heretics kind of deproved that theory, debunked it, but still, we can only cast what's in front of us, and at the moment, it is a very slow-started Black Dragons. See if they can pick up the pace as we head into round number 3, and they should be, I love using that word, should be, the easier of the 3 bomb sites to attack.
Should be. But if they're doing it in the same manner, probably not. Ooh, Swag gets one, tries to lock on towards the second, but he's caught out in a Banshee, and tough place to be in. He needed to make a decision to get out of there, but there's 2! Oh, Levi levels it out. And that puts us in a 4 versus 3. Ask has already taken a chunk of damage, trying to get himself into Conwall. And it's just not really what you want to happen after a timeout.
Yeah, now here's the issue. Ask obviously is holding a great angle onto that player as he, would want to try and rotate back to site in through construction. The issue for Ask is, why on earth would he do that? What has pressured him at all to leave that angle? Really, it's came to a halt here for Black Dragons. They need to try and figure out a plan because obviously taking in towards bedroom has not worked. Yeah, those 2 initial roam clear-out fights that happened, gone by the wayside. So those players who were there holding the cutoff and holding the angles to pick up those kills, if they do retreat, that's not going to happen for them. So they really need to try and think outside the box here.
Now, with 1 minute and 10 ticking and with not much utility to make it work, Red does at least find the first on the swing round. But think about it, as I said, with the utility, they could steal a bit and hope that they can get some of the pockets if anything is stealable, but it's 3 flashes. And the breaches that they have outside of what could be pressured by a bit more of that last canister. The mighty have fallen, and Ask suddenly swings that balance back in towards the favor, but I mean, the balance wasn't enough last time round. They've still got Rafters control, and the Kiba's still pretty solid. They're having to shoot their way through, but it's time intensive, it's utility intensive. There's a bulletproof giving the read on this player, creeping their way up the stairs, quick removal. This is a 1 versus 1, but as Falls takes care of Ask, suddenly the 2 versus 2. Big damage done, Falls! Either side, and at this point, he's ducked and hidden under the hop window, but look at the support coming round. The wall is fully locked, he's hucking impacts and hoping. Hits the fire, brilliant play. Slows down the approach, more Banshees. I said they lost an advantage before! Demo, they lose it again!
Oh, another one for Black Dragons that they just can't figure out. Look, for that bomb site, yes, it's supposed to be easy as long as you can do one of 2 things. 1, either take bedroom, or 2, take rafters. They tried to win the round without doing either of that. You know, they went for the bedroom attempt. It got batted back. They've then decided, okay, now we need to try and go rafters. But how on earth are they going to go rafters with no util? I mean, what? There was no pressure at all that really worried the Azami. Just had to sit behind the Kiba barriers and just done so. Just sit in your hands.
Oh, here's the highlight. Ooh, drift on by and knock him out. So here was there was the catch. There was another kill out of that breach just before Falls that got it. And I mean, isolation. Anyway, who's your favorite person from the Ono crew?
Where's this came from? Well,
Correct.
this is
Correct. It's Maria. She has wonderfully translated the timeout for us. Thank you so much, Maria.
Did she type it on time? Because I thought there was a lot.
Sent it. We took too long to chase in the bedroom. Why are we taking so long to do something so simple? We need to calm down, but speed up the steps. Why are we overcautious? It's only the first map of the first game. Nothing justifies that. Thank you so much, Maria. Truly the best of us.
Device primed. Keep
Agreed.
an eye on door.
The thing is, because I assume we're going to get a few of those with how higher Brazilian
quite a
representation
few,
we have at Siege
5 seconds to go.
in general, and SI, it's going to end up where I'm like, who's the best member of the team? And you're like, Maria sent us a message.
At least I know that for the queue now. I remember that.
Yeah. 3-0. 3-0, Dplus have done that 3-site rotation. They've got themselves cool, calm, and collected, and now can they just try and keep that pressure going? Last time, we had a bit of an extension. They instantly abandoned it. I think they sort of realized we don't need to fight up here.
As my friend would say, time to ring.
Well, I think overall, whenever you look at how Dplus have kind of maneuvered around the map, it has been very centric around, okay, we're going to hold apart the map and then quickly fall off. They're using the kind of layers that you can build upon if you go for those roam extensions, and every time it's worked for them. It's wasted a lot of util, especially the time. I mean, the Goyo, I think, was the big kicker in a lot of those rounds, and that's why Black Dragons went for that ban.
It locks it out, right? You're thinking about the time delay, as you said. You're thinking about the approaches that they've met, but here it is still sort of being a bit slowed down, getting the castles, getting the cut in the middle of the site. They wanted to stop them being able to rotate their way back in, but it seems like everybody's been able to get themselves back together apart from the straggler, but he was looking for a fight. He could have...
He maybe could have got that kill. I think a bit of a whiff, no?
Yeah, it was a bit of a whiff, but it was, you know, he's being adventurous. He's trying to put the pressure on, sacrificing a drone on the altar of the hatch. But a lot of time here for them to try and make something happen. Think about what they didn't have last time when they went for this approach, right? They didn't have any pressure on towards dirt. That was free for them to be swung onto. They hadn't really put pressure on towards pipe wall. That was free to just line a C4 up onto. There was still a lot on the board, and the pace has been sharpened from, as we talked about in the timeout.
Well, this is right on par, I think, for the timing-wise. You get the hatches open, you've still got all of the util. I mean, they have so much of it. You've got flashbangs in there, you've got the Grim, you've got the Capitao.
Yep.
Good luck to whoever has been manned inside a blue to try and hold on to that generator, because you're not doing it.
Do your best, mate.
Yeah. Actually see who it is. I mean, I assume it's
Bullet.
Yeah, it's gonna be somebody expendable. So yeah, the castle will take the role. Yeah.
Yep, and it's Bullet. He, you know, in his sort of game, in his sort of heyday, I think at a previous event, as I quickly just double check my notes before I get too much into the pressure, he was in 2022 one of the highest rated players.
I always remember him playing Sophia. That's the operator that always strikes me with that guy.
I will say, though, this year has been the lowest rated on this team, and he's going to try and make up for that. The fight starts to turn into a brawl, but there's two quick kills one way, and there's suddenly two drops the other. You said it was going to be a take on Jen. Oh, it's the rotate round. Oh, no. Wrong way. Locks it in at 1 versus 1. He has a smoke. He can try and slow his motion down, but they'll call it. They'll move it. They'll read it. They'll go around the other way. He's going to go in with the skeleton key. Shotgun versus shotgun, and opens the door.
Oh, clever thinking, switching to the shotgun. Fight fire with fire. Whew. But again, pretty close for Black Dragons. How has he been able to wander around the bottom of main stairs?
Because they dropped on towards Moto Hatch. So
we'll see it again, because he came out of nowhere. He came out of the woods. Look, what do you see? Value of the Grim also. What did I say? Well, an operator. Look at this. Where are you looking?
They had no idea. No. Obviously, because he got downed.
Yeah. They needed that.
Oh, yeah. So, a spicy start. Falls as well. This is the weird thing, right? So this Dplus Kia roster in 2022 would have been maybe the best roster in the world, or one of the best rosters in the world. You had Falls, who was one of the highest rated players at SI on MIBR.
Yeah.
You had Bullet, obviously, who was one of the best sort of entry players in the world at that time on that phase roster. Near's obviously sort of lower experience or whatever, but it's sort of looking back towards the history, and Maddie and Levy have played together since like 2019 on like old Red Devils rosters and sort of built. I just think that there's such a ferocity that's...
I think there's experience on both sides, and there's also some new players on both sides. Like you look at the Black Dragons team, you know, you've got players like Ask. We've seen how long he stayed at Liquid. Miracle has been about the block. Rare also, think of the Furia team.
Yep.
To be fair, a lot of them kind of coming from the Furia side of well, the old one, not the big boys.
Not the
Twister Fury is probably the best way to put it.
Not the first team you think of when we say
no.
In polite way of putting it.
Unless you're Ollie.
Unless you're Ollie.
Ollie thinks that way.
Yeah. One of the interesting sort of things about this game coming together as well, as we sort of get an eye on a Blackbeard that's ready and waiting for a chance to smash through the jacuzzi wall. There it is. Steps him in and takes a lot of damage. They sort of expected it, but he lives. Not sure if that was sort of from the cover there of the Capitao threading that needle, but they get the job done. However, you now look at the side of that C4, you look at some of the damage that could come from one of those lasers, and Blackbeard is suddenly in a bit of a tricky spot in terms of hopping in on those windows especially. They've got themselves the watch on the angle, the swing, they're covering it down and doing some clarity work on the other side, but Red is still in control of the defenders. Dplus has it. Needs us to maybe try and make a friend over there.
Well, I'm happy that they've went and opened up the main breach this time. That was obviously a crucial thing that they missed out on.
Yep.
It allowed that free rotation from the player in towards bathroom, could rotate towards flag, cover a whole lot of different angles and just maneuver. So I think having that breach open will give them a lot better of a chance, and they have some form of drone.
Yeah, they had a cross. They had 2 people watching that. But
Bullet swung con window, oh dear.
okay, well, there goes Bullet, and now they have that man advantage that they desperately wanted. I was going to talk about how they didn't get it, and it's just wasting time, and then Bullet swung on and didn't waste any more time. Middy's still on the other side, though. He can cause some damage underneath, but Niers just knocks down Rare, held the slightly off-piste angle. It's able to lock it out. In the meantime, there's a rotate coming up main stairs. Everyone is compartmentalizing.
They can't get Niers out of this corner, though. They have no nades, so they're going to have to try and smoke him, but he could just pre-fire if he hears the audio cue.
That's it. Well, there's the smoke. They're going to send the Blackbeard in. There's the pre-fire, but it doesn't connect. Drifts on by, but look at the help. The Grim locked out. They're going to go for the plant anyway. Coverage round on Jacuzzi. Comes off the plant. There's the watch on the window. A massive kill to pull apart. A team kill! Oh, no! Drops his teammate. The man with the kit and the planter. Oh, it's a 1 versus 2. But you couldn't write a more Shakespearean tragedy. He'd done the hard work.
Oh,
And then killed his teammate planting.
there's a bit of irony in this. The only way that they were able to get through that window was using the smoke grenade, which is probably what's got him killed by his own teammate, because his teammate couldn't see what he was shooting at because everything was smoked. And again, this comes back to they had nothing to clear a player in that corner. Just missing a few simple steps for Black Dragons. You know, using the smoke covers that off. Yeah, great. Pre-firing. Because he hears Niers. He hears the footsteps. So he pre-fires. But obviously the smoke is there. The smoke gives Niers that confidence to make that play. To then make the accident. He's forced the mistake.
It's rough. But it's little moments, right? That's the game. That's the game of...
Just that smoke feels like, you know the meme where it's like the guy just sticks a stick in his bike? He's done it himself. Self-inflicted trolling.
Did what needed to be done. There was a point coming into this game and looking at the prep around it, is, as we sort of highlighted, it's a lot of players that aren't the top dogs in Brazil, right? Whether it's a team that has left the region entirely, or in some creative team elsewhere.
There's 2 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's Black Dragons who... LCQ. Struggle to sort of make them out. They're one of the only teams at this event, in fact, maybe the only team that could have earned SI points this year and didn't get them.
Well, we had a great discussion on them during the LCQs. They were always so close to making it into some form of position, and they just missed out on it a lot of the time. And then, I kind of look at a team like Black Dragon.
Bullet's having a really rough day.
I was going to say, you look at a team like Black Dragons, where yes, they were, really close to making it into whatever it was, but they still knocked off Liquid, which I think you have to give them respect for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the sort of elements of the team as well, is, any team that makes it through the LCQs will have to always beat top teams, or especially in a region as competitive as we know Brazil, Latin America and South America is. Here is Black Dragons, but the point I was going to raise before is there is almost this question of what's stronger, a team that is the best in a different region, that is a sort of expatriate team, or a team that's fit in the home region. Well, they're inside the site and going for the plant, so we might be able to get a quick answer on this round. They're holding it off. Swag's able to find falls as well. It's back and forth. They have it locked down for the retake. The C4 does get the kill. Too little, too late. And that was a very sort of bold position to be lying and waiting. They're in the same place. I mean, it's just a little bit of a slow war, but surely this one goes into Black Dragon's favor. There it is.
Really nice attack from Black Dragons. They've used the Ying to bait towards construction, which then pulls the player away from catch because he's worried, oh, I have to help my teammate because there's a Ying on the single construction wall. And then the guy just jumps in through the site window, and he's in. They double reinforced Rafters, so a Rafters player ain't going to do anything. Great opportunity spot and a great misdirection.
4-2. 4-2, and it could have been a lot worse. You know, you think about, obviously, how the rounds have sort of played out, and there was that one that was a 1 versus 1. That could have been 4 in a row, which would have changed the mentality going forward. It didn't. It goes into Black Dragon's favor. And then there's the round that was the team kill. If you look at just the last 3 rounds of that, you would think the first 3 were an entirely different game. And that was a very good timeout, I think it's fair to call it then, because they weren't anywhere close, really. At the beginning, they found aggression, they found confidence, and they found themselves 2 rounds. But now, let's see if they can double down, because as I said, there's still that big old question mark over map 2. This should be the one where, I mean, you know, are they hoping to do it in 3? We'll find out. You and I cast the game that went 3 maps earlier today. And as you said, similar idea. It's just...
Hackers are activating the...
Poor Bullet. He's had a sort of rough year of it. As I said, he's the sort of lowest rated on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas once upon a time, I mean...
Still got a major, though.
Still does.
Can't take that away from him.
If it's on the Liquipedia,
Deploying major wire.
It's there for life.
it's there for life. It's like a tattoo.
Oh, right. Side switch. Into the basement. No surprise. You look at the lineup. Yeah, Castle, Scopos. Gonna have a roam. Rely on the Goyo in the late stages. Pretty simple stuff on Club. I wonder if they're gonna open up the hatches inside a bar and kitchen.
10 seconds remaining.
Which they have. So, yeah, a little bit different. Obviously,
5 seconds left
with
before insertion.
Dplus Kia, they played into utilizing the Cade.
Yep.
It's been banned, though, so it wasn't even an option for them. So, yeah, you may as well open up the hatches, make it a lot easier for those roamers. We'll see how much value they'll get from the Scopos. You would assume it's going to be in somewhere in towards the top floor. Strip Club, of course, was another thing we seen earlier, but I think with that certain play, whenever you're already castling off areas like pool table, you may as well put it upstairs.
Let's see if the pace of Dplus Kia can be one that sets Black Dragons a little bit a step behind. You've got everything you can. We've talked a lot about in our earlier game, the Dokkaebi, the Deimos, the combination of using it to try and close down on those loose players, and when you've got the play space to be played with, and how in some ways quickly they left it on their defense. Let's see if Rare decides to try and hold them a bit more hostage on the top floor. He has chances, he has routes, and he has a bit of a support structure from Swag on the main stairs, but eventually the push is going to turn to a shove, and that is happening now. Some damage taken on towards the split. Fools finds Rare, and they net their kill on towards the top floor. Already, I would say, in some ways, more of a success than Black Dragons were ever really able to do on their attacks here, Demo.
Yeah, good start. Really good start. Taking out the Izami. Great operator to knock off. You're going to lose about 2 Keeper barriers based on the timing that Rare was taken out. And now you just go for your motions again. Ooh, roamers having to fall off. This is the advantage of having those hatches open, and he's even going to try and play the long reverse angle. Also, keep in mind, the Scopos has actually maneuvered into Strip Clubs. Not only did he start off inside, Jimmy's actually been able to maneuver all the way, and now he's just another pressure that I think if you're Dplus, you have a choice, because look at the time. You either go for him now, or you let him sit, and you best hope that you've got good flank protection.
That's it.
I think you've committed now. You have to just leave.
Oh, entirely. And it's almost the element of the operators that they have. I don't know if they know that he's been able to get into this position. There's the castle, so they've got the track down below. It gives them a little bit of protection, the fact that there is still a castle on the billiards double as well, which means that they can't quite get caught out when they go for that sort of swing, the potential bite of a Scopos who has now been droned. Now they know, all right, 50 seconds. He's actually coming towards you. This is working in your favor. He could have sat there a bit longer. He knows that they're either going to chase, they're either going to close down. He can wait 10 seconds, 20 seconds, but they're going for the close down. There's the swing on towards the main stairs. Looks for the fight itself. They're still not really paying any attention. It's, I mean, covered and supported. The bulletproof, great positioning on that utility that they missed on the clear through. Maybe they just wanted it with the Dockerby cameras that they have hacked. There's another call. There's the noise of the scope boss, but Demo. I'm looking at 20 seconds to drop on the hatch. There's at least one more body. Mr. Outlaw, time to earn your name. Bullet has gone down in that engagement inside Blue and Jen. It's a 4 versus 1. It is only the scope boss left, and this could be the biggest stab there ever is. The plant is being confirmed. There's somebody holding on to dirt. Piece by piece, step by step. Dplus gear.
Yeah. So obviously I think they had an idea that he was over there, because did you notice that nobody really stayed in towards that bar, that bar drop? So they were just so focused on kitchen and dirt. That was the main pressure point. I mean, a little bit of main stairs too that he maybe could have went for.
Yep.
I think there is an option there where Mr. Outlaw needs to go and make something happen.
He has to find an engagement.
I think he was very, very passive.
He was.
And don't forget, it was 4v5. They were down a man. He needed to go find a kill somewhere and make that play, because he's leaving 3 players on site to deal with all that util.
It was this sort of split of it as well, because I think that's the spread. They'd got the opening kill. It was the 5 versus 4 on the close down, and then they know that somebody's off site, and you're like, okay, well, we know he has to cross by main stairs to get anywhere. They left a single player, as you said, and that should have been the engagement he went for, because you expect that, and you need to make something happen, because otherwise, yeah, you can be a bit cautious about it. They still know it's a 5 versus 3 on the site. They're still happy with the numbers game.
Yeah, they'll trade.
You have to get involved, and
10 seconds
well,
to insertion.
this is the result if you don't. Either way, site keeps rotating round, and
5
Dplus
seconds
Kia
left.
extend that advantage. Any goodwill Black Dragons thought they might have earned towards the end of the first half evaporated there. But I think, as I sort of put it, it was very well formulated. They didn't have a lot of time left at the end, fine, but it didn't feel stressed. Everything felt like it was within the same tempo, the same measure, as they kept on walking on.
Interesting to see that Black Dragons immediately going for the change-up. That's another thing, not wanting to go back downstairs. And this is, I think it's more of a mentality thing where teams, no matter what, they'll always keep the rotation. They'll always keep the cycle, win, lose, or draw. Even if you can't draw, sometimes you can maybe draw.
You used to be able to.
Used to be able to draw.
Fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh. Fresh. Fresh if you're in the green room. Fresh.
That's a great reference. That's brilliant. That's very good. Like that one. But yeah, they're just gonna stick with the rotation that they've set up, and yeah, go in the gym and bedroom now. And the main thing for Dplus, again, is get those breaches open. If you can do that in Clubhouse, I cannot exaggerate how easy it makes your life to play this map.
Yeah.
Get the walls open. That is always step number 1.
Well, the Clash is making friends outside of a Maverick hole. They're just going to try and slow things down, but otherwise, you know, again, it's the process, right? And they're sort of revealing the positions of everyone. As soon as anyone gets close, pulls the pin on the grenade and pushes them further away. So they can't quite do the full read. Nas just moves back in. He is a brilliant known shield player, right? He has often got himself on towards the Clash roles, even on previous rosters, and you know, he'll just be a problem. And he's not afraid to be a confident problem.
See how much value the Flores can get. Try and create an opening, I would assume. Maybe in towards bathroom, or simply just try and clear away bits of utility, especially the Izami currently inside a gym, making a bit of a mess. Blocking off the windows and such, and yeah, just going to clear it all away. Minute left. I wonder how many Goyos that they still have to go up against. That's obviously another danger thing with this kind of lineup that they have. In goes a big old util dump. Does anyone want to play off this?
Well, they're trying to force the player on the back, but Swag's able to get the opener. They're playing behind the Clash shield from the main stairs itself. They have themselves stacked up in a bit of a firing range here, and as soon as they reveal themselves either side, well, they know they're going to get swung and pre-fired on it, and there it is. As I said, very confident shield player, sets up his home and says, this is where I live now. Everybody else is dead. 2 flashes, 2 smokes, and 2 players to try and make something happen against what is still a full stack. Right, they don't really have any control on this side of the map. As you can see, they're still trying to face check their way in towards cash, and now that is all that they have. They were very direct, and unfortunately, the end of that sentence is to a fault.
Is he going to get an exit, perhaps? Anyone want to give him a kill? Anyone?
Somewhere Mephi is typing zzz in the chat.
Not even in his game, and he's still
Not even in his
Zed, yeah.
game. I love it when the roof is disappeared. Sorry, I realized actually that wasn't on the stream.
Yeah.
I got my monitors confused for a second there. Sorry, gang. I saw something
You're leaking.
none of you saw.
Yeah. That Clash. And that Clash has been a tricky operator, I think, for the past few months. Of course, with the change that happened to her, where the shield can be placed and you can run with the shield.
Yep.
Just gives her a lot more, I think, just quality of life. You know, you can actually now be a bit of an issue. You know, back in the day, Clash, you said, oh, so I'll just leave her there.
Yeah.
She can't really do anything to me unless she 180s me, which I'm not letting that happen.
No.
Now, put the shield down, just juggle pick like a mirror window. It's very tricky, and we've seen that happen. Ast just sat on the main breach. Nobody really throwing any util towards him. Just juggle piece gets his kill.
Fun little secondary, fun little bit of action. It's great. And
Tough up.
it's also one of those sort of splits, as I said, of if you know you're against a team that can be a bit slow, you can change the problem. And that is the biggest thing that you can try and implement as a defender in a lot of different ways, is you give someone a problem and then you change the problem. You change the solutions they have to bring together, whether that is flanking and finding a new position as a Scopos, whether that is bringing a clash and turning a breached wall into a closed wall. Those are the elements that they're trying to play with, and it worked that time around.
Well, this is the beauty of Siege. If you don't have an operator that counters another operator, all of a sudden you are in for a world of hurt.
Oh,
That's the way it works. You need to have counters upon counters for everything.
2-round buffer isn't impossible, isn't a million miles away, and, well, might be something that gets cemented here. What are these? Oh, they're trying to disguise, maybe, and hope that they can drop on the hatch and get them around the back. There's a bit of motion that comes through. Swagger's being caught out. There is the reveal. Swagger's going to see if they can try and get out of there. They're inside the bathroom and swapping on towards the other shell. That was a mayday, mayday, mayday comm, and they've been able to actually get their way out. That's why they were sneaking the Monty across the top. But Rare, round on the back, is going for the backstab. Currently just holding a little bit close, not too far away, about to meet a Monty and then going to move on elsewhere. And, well, actually puts the shotgun hole around the back and slips their way, gone. It's just, again, slowing them down, introducing new problems and trying to not be a solution as well.
Yeah. Back on site, everyone is. And again, just going to use now the util that they have. They have the Goyo there. I think both teams have played a very similar club, haven't they? There's not really been a massive difference. I suppose maybe this Monty coming in just going to give them, I think, a little bit more stability whenever it comes to finding out information, and especially whenever we talk about the, the basement of Clubhouse. If you can call, oh, there's a guy box free, there's a guy on half wall, all that information is crucial whenever you're going in for the execute.
So, couldn't get rid of the Scopos shell in the bathroom. They're just going to have to hope it doesn't get transported to, but if you keep them active, well, you can keep them fighting, and that's the sort of risk. And Swagger's probably not going to swap to it unless they really get it's all clear comm, because the flank didn't really work out last time. Here's the pressure, with the opening kill obviously coming in towards their favor, trying to put the pressure on towards Gen, but they've got bodies stacked up above at least 2 of the other hatches. And down the main stairs itself, on towards the close swing, baits the Goyo, 20 seconds of burn time, and then the execute itself. There's Scopos on the close swing angle, doesn't quite get caught from the expected fight, keeps peppering bullets though. 30 seconds now, where will they drop?
Are they not going to try and open up triple wall? I mean, you've got the Habana pellets, 16 of them. Get that triple wall open, put these players inside a church under a bit of pressure, and this is where the Monty comes in. Look at the information he's been able to gain.
There is the Scopos getting one on the drop. Miracle gets one of his own as well. They're having to just send it, but they're not even really aware of where to. There's at least a couple back, but I mean, they got up to the wall and then went, oh, I can't climb this wall. You're shaking your head.
I'm scratching as well. Why would you not go for the church take? I think that was there in abundance. You're able to burn the Goyo pretty early on, so it still leaves you, enough time to get yourself in. And triple wall, I just thought was there for the taking. Did they need to try and force that kitchen? In my opinion, probably not.
But they tried to force everything.
Yeah, and
they had somebody pushing on towards blue. They had somebody obviously pushing on towards the hatch itself, and they had someone bottom main, and they had someone on moto. They were like spoiled for choice.
And here's the thing, you can make the argument, oh, you don't want to open up triple wall, because then they could use that as a rotate against you. The wall was already opened. There was already a way that the defenders could move into short if they wanted to. So you may as well open up that left side to give yourself another angle and put those players under pressure. The worst thing is, a Monty is at your door, calling out exactly where you are, and then your wall starts getting opened up behind you. You just know you're in for it. Where else can you go? Yeah, just... Don't know.
Maybe a thing of too many cooks. everybody's thought this was the right way through and things got messy. But as you said with the Monty, it's clarity of information. Oh, we're not in the comms.
Ruining my broth.
Ruining your broth. We've ordered this broth
10 seconds
40
left
minutes
before
ago,
insertion.
or however long this game has been going on. 4 to 5 though. From where
5
we
seconds
were
remaining.
to where we are now, that
Attackers have discovered
sort of
the location of a
divide has slipped away bit by bit, round by round, and Black Dragons could get themselves tied up.
Well, this is the biggest round. Because it's either we do get tied up 5-5 or Dplus go match point.
You have such a way with words.
Thank you.
Well, let's.
I have trained for this.
And it starts in a strip club,
Eh?
slipping their way on past to try and, I guess, just get themselves a bit of a backstab. It's still a slow and steady clear on towards at least the intel on the top. Ask is going to maybe send this Echo drone up through the hatch. They got 3 now. Why not be a little bit fun with them? See what's there.
Nice.
Well, there's the Ying. There's nobody else, but the Ying didn't quite get the drone itself, and now they're sort of well aware of the pressure that might be about to befall them from falls from that hatch.
A rare action to be bandit tricking the bathroom walls. So it's going to cause a little bit of an issue here for Dplus. Don't have anything to remove the bandit charges. Just going to have to try and just forfeit that and try and push in for either flag or in towards Jim, but I think Rare's pretty safe for the meantime. Here comes the flag play I talked about.
Well, the grenade bounces back, not nicely, but there's at least 2 quick kills that come out into their favor. Rare did get 1 before being dropped, but now a 4 versus 3. They've only lost their extension players, though. Miracle and Rare are gone. So is a minute 30, and now so is pressure on towards the site itself, and well, they're actually being forced out of here and resetting up a defense. As I said, change the problem. Change what's being put in front of you. Maybe they wanted to reinforce that connector wall, but didn't get the opportunity. That could have been the pressure from the con window. At this point, they've at least got back and top red.
Ideally, I think somebody needs to maybe try and switch positions with Ask. Because if he wants to get value out of the Echo, he can't really be the front man in behind the bomb chassis. So this may be a bit of an issue for them.
Well, they've got themselves really propped up aggressively here, hoping onto the door they can be a bit
Triple
surprised.
swing.
I mean, yeah. But also, this was maybe the other problem that we saw. We've seen very isolated pushes and... Oh, just turn the corner, why don't you? There's that shotgun, locks in, doesn't even need the blinds, but they'll start to roll. The Candela was tried to be attempted there for a second, and there's just Levi picking it up. On the swing, there's the last for Midi. And you said it, big round. That's that map point round. They are 1 away from getting off to the perfect start.
Dplus, really good siege today. Honestly, really impressed because they're keeping it simple.
Yep.
They're doing the basics really well. They're getting the breaches open, even though they didn't even actually use the main breach. So they didn't need to.
Didn't need it.
They were able to fight their way in through bedroom. I think they're reading the situations very well. Players are winning their ones to open up that space. Oh, we didn't see that.
Ski shooting.
Reloading!
And yeah, just picking them off one by one. And, you know, the early game work put Black Dragons in a position where they need to go out of the way to find a pick.
Yeah.
And that's going to force mistakes. You know, a triple swing, that can go either great or just horrendously bad. And it went the latter. It went bad. So, yeah,
Bomb located by
Dplus.
attackers.
Great siege today. Let's see if they can close it out.
6-4, and we get ourselves back towards Jim, back towards the split of everything, and back towards a clash in the pockets. The Monty has been removed. Was a bit of a problematic
10
pick
seconds
at
left
points.
before
They
insertion.
utilized it, I'm not going to say massively well,
5 seconds to insertion.
but also it was clean. It wasn't a hindrance to them. It was
Attackers'
giving them a bit
objective
of
is to
pace,
defuse a
slow them
bomb.
down,
Yeah.
take it out of their game. In the meantime, the Kiba's gone.
Yeah, well, I think just in general, Azami's just great in Clubhouse. You know,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
valuable everywhere. You think about the AK position downstairs in the basement. Obviously, Raptor speaks for itself and how strong she is. They're really the only operator who we kind of know of who can play that position. Unless Doc is, you know, a bit crazy up there, but Doc got changed recently.
I mean, who knows? At this point, everybody's being bloody buffed, aren't they? I'm waiting for you to have a political comment on that.
No, I'm not saying anything.
6-4. As I've already said, but is that about to start changing? They're looking for that first engagement. They're looking to try and just shake the tree and see who falls out of it. As the breach is partially opened, so angsty for the fight, and Bullet
Out with the old, in with the new.
is out with the old and in with the new.
You never really hear those
No, that was
kind of
Nicely timed.
are the catchphrases? I don't know.
It depends how often he says it, I suppose. But I like him saying that when he reloads his gun. Anyway, they've got themselves ready for the swing round. The utilization, obviously, and to be fair, I didn't really talk about it.
You going?
What a great counter towards Clash. Obviously,
Yeah.
that gun is, that operator is, and that's the utilization. It's forced to Clash with this position that she played so well before. She's either deploying her shield and getting it destroyed, or she's trying to toe-to-toe and just getting destroyed. She needs support structure. You said it before. You pick what can counter the picks, and this could be that one that pulls things back together. Underneath, there is somebody waiting on the hatch. Rare is ready to try and get them if they go for the hop in itself. They've found a little bit of an impasse here. They can't quite get a route through, and wants to thread the needle on anyone that slips their way up, but nobody has taken the bait of the fight so far, and we finally have the swap of the balance hopped in. Looks for an engagement, looks for any trouble anywhere, and missed them for a second, almost picked it back up, but dropped and swapped round instead. Doesn't see it. So many close moments, but that's not close, Demo. That is a clubhouse covered in Dplus Kia's flags.
Oh, a good win. Good strong win. 7-4. Go in there, break your opponent, essentially. You know, I think the momentum's with them now. Yeah, great stuff from Dplus.
As well, obviously, we talked about the sort of map selection, the operator, the way everything's were coming together, and how it was unknown factors and known factors, and this was that known one. And now, once again, you and I will be plunging off in towards the unknown, seeing what else is out there on a map that was a permaban after a quick break.
Keep an eye out for contact.
Available now.
And that is another good start for Dplus to the tournament. They won the first match in Munich. They win the first map here, looking good. And I think the big difference in this matchup that we're seeing on the side of Dplus is how they have this experience on their roster. When it comes to these end-of-round moments that we're seeing on map 1, they know how to control the chaos.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it comes down to the experience difference. I mean, they have 2 major winners on the team, players that have been on the main stage before, and I think that's exactly what we saw, because despite them losing opening kills, they understood if we play it slow, we play it into our possession in the later half of these rounds, Black Dragons is just going to get a little too overzealous. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to overextend. And that's where Dplus Kia is able to execute on it and get those rounds.
Yeah, there was 2 factors for me. And when you kind of said, who do we think at the start of this fixture? I said, well, one, you know, Dplus, they have overall the experience. Like you said, they've got major winners. They've got guys that have gone deep at 6 Invitationals, you know, got top 3, top 4 at 6 Invitational. And they also had the map that, yeah, sure, it was Black Dragon's map pick, but they'd relied on that map through the LCQs. And what was the one good thing that we identified from Dplus in Munich was their counter analysis, their counter prep. Map 1, they were always going to come out strong on whatever that map was of this event. So I'm not necessarily surprised to see them win and play to those win conditions, and they executed that perfectly.
But one thing they might have not been prepared for is one player on the side of Black Dragons. In their first international tournament, Swag is actually showing off.
Yeah, I mean, despite Black Dragons losing, you have to commend Swag for his ability to find those opening kills consistently, be the spearhead for Black Dragons to maybe have some opportunity to win rounds back. And it's great to see such a rookie, a young player, come in and be the leading factor, the leading voice for Black Dragons.
Yep.
So despite that loss, still, we have to give commendation for how well he played, and hopefully the confidence of seeing that he can keep up at a main stage tournament, he's able to use that going into map 2.
And that's what you want to look for, right? You know, when you as a player, Fox, for example, even when you've had a defeat, when a map's not gone well, you want to look for a positive. The one positive is Swag, the guy that you see on the screen. The fact that he's come in, and let's just remind you, he's not played inside of SAL. This is a big step up from the level that he usually plays at. And he's come in and he's had such a confident performance. 3-0 on the entry. For, you know, Black Dragons, who we said 5 months ago was a team full of support players. They've got a natural entry here that's really, really confident, and they need to kind of harvest the team around that.
But now here's the biggest issue is, yes, you have Swag getting those kills, but the main core issues for Black Dragons, where the rest of the team is, how they're impacting off of those opening kills, that's the biggest issue. I mean, you have a player like Ass that's going to be leading the team. He needs to make sure that he's tightening up and understanding in those later half of the rounds. They're not letting that advantage slip away, always making sure what the next step is.
And then just a reminder, obviously, the context of this group as well. There are some juggernauts to come in this group for these 2 teams after they've got through this fixture. Now, it's not even just the result, but every map counts at the 6 Invitational. So Black Dragons, they're up against it, but they can still get it done. They can still at least salvage some points from this.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you could excuse yourself for having a slower start in the tournament, maybe for having less experience, but in this group, that might really cost you with the teams that you still have left to play against. We sketched it as this match you might have to win, you call yourself safe inside of that group, and so far Dplus doing a really good job at it. But what I'm seeing, again, we're seeing the entries go in favor of Black Dragons, like you mentioned it, but the rounds are just not following up after.
I mean, I think that's the picture that we want to paint, right? Is Black Dragons have fixed that issue of needing an entry, getting rid of some support players. They're getting the opening kill. They're doing the hard part first. They're getting a job done efficiently. But now when it comes to the later half of the rounds, the experience is carrying Dplus to win those rounds back. When you go into map 2 on a map like Labs, that's not where you want to find yourself, is getting that first pick, because not only do you have the first pick and the advantage, but you have the time also on your back. That's going to add a lot of pressure. And with the IGLing of Black Dragons right now, it does not look like that pressure is going to make things any easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Now, and it seems like to add another thing to that for Black Dragons at the moment, we're going to their perma ban, because the next map will be Nighthaven Labs. And we talk about it being a permaban. They haven't played it as an organization since, what, 2024 was it?
2024, yeah. Yes. I think it was the Montreal Major in 2024 as the last time as an organization that they played this map inside of Tier 1 Siege at least. In fact, there was nobody on that roster but Ask, and I'm fairly sure he's had a stint at Liquid between the last 2 times. So, you know, it is very much a permaban. Their backs are very much up against the wall. But what I will say is you don't come to the 6 Invitational in a game like this that is a must-win game and leave it open unless you've got a plan to play it. So I would expect something from that.
That's true. Maybe with the new players as well, being that addition, it might help them with this matchup though. Can the Black Dragons bounce back? The map is ready, so send it back to our casters.
Thank you very much, and we are hurtling in towards the unknown. As I said before, it's put there pretty brilliantly though. Surely they've got a game demo?
Well, they better, because they're up against the wall.
Well, if they don't have a game, they've lost the series.
1-0 down, going to the permaban. Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy. But I mean, it's also the element as well. It's still pretty narrow down the line there of who thinks it's going to go which way and what. I love this violin. I feel like I'm... Anyway, well, let's not waste any more time. Let's get labsy. What experiments have they been cooking up here in the labs demo? What do you think?
I mean, the issue with Black Dragons, it's not like their only map that they don't play.
Yeah.
You know, Fortress is obviously going to be a thing. You know, that they put more time into learning the new map to bring to SI compared to, you know, going to a map which, again, they haven't played in a very long time, as the desk alluded to. So, yeah, a lot of pressure on them. I mean, Dplus right now, just with the seeds that they're playing, the basics, a lot of what they did in Clubhouse is very easily kind of transitioned over to labs. You know, it's the same thing. It's about getting the walls open, making sure that you can breach effectively, and then set up your crossfires, util dump, bang, you win.
It sounds so simple. What do you think?
It is. It is.
Just win. Why don't we just kill the other guy?
Look, it's my book. Anyone can plant. Come on, anyone can do this.
Now available in some good bookstores. Not all. Okay, I love labs for a lot of the elements that you just said. I think when Nighthaven Labs came into the rotation of maps, it brought elements of club that I enjoyed without having to watch another million clubs. We've already watched clubs today. Happy for it to take a little bit of a break. But you're entirely right. Getting open the walls, getting open the pressure onto the external, making sure that you have control of those games is things that Dplus Kia were generally a bit ahead of the curve on, and they're going to see if they can try and keep that going. And, oh, what's that? The Grim Ban, yep, makes sense, the Monty as well, but then double electrics. Limitations on those walls, and an external hatch reinforcement. Wow, you don't always see that for this site, but I guess it does at least slow them dropping in on towards the connector, on towards kitchen.
Yeah, it's a bit of an old one. It was done very early on, whenever the map was first released, but then I think everyone kind of caught onto it and think, what's the point? It's going to get, you know, it's opened up anyway, so yeah, just going to take a bit of time. But you can see straight away the shields are in, clearing the building as quickly as they can. Standard top-down clear. You would expect that based on the operator selection. You've got the double soft destruction. You have your ram and your buck. Just in the off chance that you maybe lose one, you've still got the backup if needed. So ram gonna open up above storage before they really get into it. Again, the shield just working its way through. Nice pace at the moment, I think.
Yeah, great.
Just slow and steady. Isn't that what the tortoise said?
Yeah, and historically I think they won, but I don't think they were hit by a smoke canister. And Ask was hit by a handful of the Hare's bullets. They're going to be able to get the pickup because they can't keep the pressure on the grenade. No! Oh, will it get both? Just the one! Oh, had to leave him, pushed this man down the stairs and said, don't let them get both of us.
He can't say he didn't revive him because he did. He died after he revived him. That's all on him.
He did his part. He's like, where's he gone? Oh, caught the flank player as well. And now they have just capitalized on the space, but
he needs 2 kills in this position.
Yeah.
Mr. Outlaw.
And he needs to activate. We've had the moment before where they've been the man deficit. He's been in a
too passive
position, and he's too passive. Have to send it in, have to cause a problem. Yeah, it's great if you get one and you're not sort of known about it, but that moment, he's so deep behind enemy lines here.
He needs to make a play. Just sitting in the corner, nobody's coming near him. He might be able to get the freebie. He looks away. No, doesn't even get the kill.
They're planting down underneath the site. They've got themselves in and amongst it. And, you know, you wonder where the rest of it was. But at this point, he hasn't really had any of that. Woo! There's suddenly a 3 versus 3, though. Swag's able to find one in the meantime. It's a fight inside the site. And Niers is doing his best, but he's caught from that verticality. And, oh, suddenly, it's just Bullet left alive. He's gone his way around above. He's stuck inside. He's looking for the drop. He can't quite make it in time. They're pre-firing. Where are you going? Oh, no!
So it's begun.
So it has begun. You wanted him to do something.
He did. I mean, he took his time.
He took his time.
He took his time to get there.
His time was taken.
But
however,
yeah.
I mean, getting this kill, getting this bit of pressure, as we said, great pace, getting the kit down as well in this sort of situation, and still a 5 versus 3 going away from them. It just.
Almost a little bit of hesitation there.
Yeah.
The Dokkaebi. You know, thought, oh, I'm not just going to swing the hatch. I'm going to go around the box. But even just that 0.5 seconds make all the difference. The way he kind of maneuvered as well upstairs, it didn't even look as though he was aware of where they planted. Because he was almost running towards the vertical angles before he realized, oh, it's actually planted for the hatch. Which was a little bit weird.
Well, unfortunately, you and I, back in attack. And we get a moment. All the heat that was built up there will slightly dissipate, or it'll just bubble. Bring things to a nice boil. It's always that sort of moment, right? Is would you rather be the team that just won or just lost before one of these? You can't talk to your coach. You can't talk to your people behind the lines. You can't talk strategy or anything.
I think it's different if we're already for a good chunk off the map. It just begun.
Yeah.
Just one round, you know? So, it's not too bad. It's different if it was 7-7. Tech pause, oh dear. That really does take the sting out of it, but it shouldn't take us too long. We've had a few tech issues today, but I think we've recovered from them very quickly. Good recovery time.
Yeah.
Saying this as though like the lobby's been injured and he's got himself back in 6 weeks from a broken leg.
Put him on rest.
Let's see how the tech pause handles a double leg break. Let's see if he gets up after that. I.e. somebody's kicked the PC.
It wouldn't be the first time. I think that, I can't remember if it was in our game or in a different game, a player celebrated and accidentally kicked and turned off their PC.
It's not our game.
No.
Must be somebody else.
He's holding his shoulder there, just.
So one thing, if you want to be a coach, everyone, this is advice that I had received.
Is it in the book? Is it in the book?
Well, no. This is. I'll plug another person. This is Kangaroo Kenny's book.
Okay, Kangaroo Kenny's
And if you want to be a coach, what you need to learn is how to give a good back massage. Just let everyone know. That's what he says.
Yeah. I mean, sure. He had good success as a coach. I'm not going to question it. I've never done any coach role. I sort of just talk.
We're aware. Don't worry. We're well aware of what your skills are.
Okay, this is. Did you ever get your like school reports when you were a kid?
Sadly.
Well, this is the similar thing. Is I recently, in a very British sentence, cleared out my loft not too long ago. Found my old school reports, and all of them were like, just talks all the time. They need to focus more. Well, look at me now, teachers. My job is talking all the time.
Mine was so much potential, but sadly very lazy.
Yeah.
So.
And look at it now, teachers. Sort of the same.
They said video games would get you nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
True. Video games and talking. Anyway, as you can see from the players, the excitement, we are hurtling our way back in. First round ticked off, and it's a Black Dragons round. I was kind of worried, obviously, if that one had played out the full way, that Dplus Kia, off the bounce, off the rip, getting themselves that one round up, could have been sort of hurtling towards a bit of a 2-0. Just energetically, you lose the first round, you win the first round, especially on your defense on here, it can bring a big cost. But now we go up towards the top floor demo.
Yeah, I think this map, pretty 50-50 for the most part. I don't think it favors any one side. I think defense can have great toys to play with if operators like, you know, your Mira, your Clash, for example, who can be pretty troublesome to deal with if you don't have the correct attackers to go up against them. I mean, we've certainly seen that today in terms of Clash and just how tricky that operator has been. I mean, even in our last map, you know, they had to bring in the Kali as a specific counter for the Clash.
I mean, it forces a pick as well, and The thing about the Kali on club, I think you would definitely get more usage. It's always site dependent.
Well, Kali's great because it can help with obviously the clash.
Yeah.
It can help with electrifications if there are any.
If there are any.
And also, I mean, Azami's always a big thing, so
Yep.
picks off quite a bit of util.
I think that's the thing. I think on this site, if you're into it, you're less perturbed than if you have to bring Kali on, you know, say a mid take and wherever. But anyway, beside the point, they're going to see if they can try and get the wall open a little bit late for whatever Mira was attempting there. But the fact that Mira window is there anyway still makes the breach a little bit funky.
Yeah. Again, doing the basics right, get the breaches open. They've done so over towards IT. They've also opened in towards connector. And this is the advantage of having two hard breachers in this map, that you just can open everything, even if there are little kind of mini games where you have to play dodge the Mira, dodge the C4, for example. So they're in, set up. Now the next stage is either you try and go rafters, which is going to be pretty tricky because you've got not only the Azami there, but also the Clash. But then you will also argue, but they have a Capitav. Surely they can make something happen there from rafters.
Still trying to get their way through the utility on towards rafters, as he said, and the focus from underneath the garage, but forcing the player out the Capital bolts. It's Swag playing on those keeper barricades in a 1-versus-1 swing game. Oh no, wait, it's not, because Clash is there as well. So instead, Nears playing a sneaky game, is being watched by the closed door. It can't quite win it out. 2 kills drifted away, including the aforementioned fight inside and down to the rafters. There is now a 5-versus-2, and this round be wrapped up with a nice little bow on it sooner rather than later. About a minute. 2 players with a lot to try and do and prove in this time, and they've not really pushed any of the Black Dragons players out of position. Apart from the one they've just killed.
Got the one exit. Needs to try and find a lot more than that, but really don't have a lot to play off. One and final look we call it goes in, but just a quick jump and he's absolutely shredded by that Azami. Levy. C4. Don't know who that's for. Casper? Maybe.
Got him.
Oh, he's got the ghost.
He's now a double ghost.
There we go.
They just got to stick away him.
So, the thing that I see is, you know, they're dumping the util. They've used the Capitao in towards rafters, but they're not following up on that util being used. You know, whenever you think about clearing out rafters, that 3-2-1, it's typically 3-2-1, in goes the flames, somebody pushes in towards exit door, somebody in towards breach, somebody in towards a single window, and you just collapse, because that Azami's gonna have to move.
I think it's one of the things, they put a lot of faith in this, right? Obviously, the first engagement goes away. They were hoping maybe the bullet engagement could have lasted a little bit longer to give that IT player a little bit more to hope for. When they lost that first engagement, that player inside IT has a choice. Do I back out here and we pull away from the plan, or do I just send it?
Yeah.
Sent it, lost the engagement there because they weren't quite ready, because they had to look at too many different angles. The round played the way it did. 2 rounds now for Black Dragons, and, well, we find ourselves hurtling to the middle, because where else can you go unless you really want to go kitchen?
No.
Okay.
No. Don't even think about it. Not here, not today,
5 seconds left.
not ever.
Okay. Oh, I thought
Bad
about
bomb
it.
site, bad bomb site.
Attackers objective
Really?
to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Bomb site that has a window. Well, to be fair, this also has a window directly into the bomb site.
Yeah,
so
but you got to do a lot more work.
Yeah, you have to take a lot and stuff. Whereas kitchen, you just jump in. You know, that's it.
Doors now have this window.
Oh, well. Again, I would assume it's going to be an upstairs clear, open up IT, get the Rams in, yada, yada, yada. We've seen all this before. I think the kind of thing that you have to be careful of is, of course, the downstairs hole that can come in. And we see that plenty of times where defenders, they realize that there is a lot of verticality in this bomb site, not just from above, but also from below. So you try and utilize that. You play players downstairs. You look for C4 options if you can. However, the player who's actually downstairs is a Castle, and I don't think Castle got a C4 in the latest update.
No. And, well, we'll see if they can try and make some work with the Oomp as they spray and pepper their way up through, checking that nothing is on the other side of that, which, you know, they've already removed the Goyo, got rid of some of that long burn. And, oh no, there's a second Goyo. Thank you, wonderful observer, for revealing.
Reloading!
Just quickly, Twitch F2. When was the last time we seen one of them?
Wow. Not for much longer, it seems like. Dropped out. Mr. Outlaw's able to find least the first, and they lose their ram. They lose that verticality. They lose that ability to just get through IT, which hasn't been done. Mr. Outlaw's still playing inside there and trying to find a fight outside, but he can tuck back if he wants to. He's still very much happy to engage, and here Black Dragons might be on the precipice of setting themselves up for sort of doing what was done to them 3 rounds in a row, swing their way outside of windows still. They're so happy to find these fights, Demo.
Almost. Bit of delayed reaction there, but still able to get the kill onto the catwalk player. But the ram gone. How they get into this bomb site now, that is the tricky question.
Well, that's entirely it, right? They're still fighting for the crown above. Nears gets rid of Mr. Outlaw. There's a quick thorn charge. Does some damage towards the player, but not enough to kill it. Nears! 2 for 2. Who else is lining up? Now it's a 3 against 2, and they've suddenly taken this round, picked it up, flipped it round, and said, right, this feels much nicer. But they still don't have that verticality. They've still got a C4 to try and fight against. They're having to use exothermics to get their angles. 2 smoke bolts is probably the play on towards the plant itself. Tuck yourself in, but against that bulletproof, what can happen?
Yeah, just keep an eye on Bullet. He is the player with the diffuser. It's up to him to make a move and decide where he wants to go for the plant.
Well, his only real choice here is tucked in close, and his rag gets one. He times that! Oh, as unluckily as it can go, and now, once again, it's been picked back up, flipped back round, right way up. This is a 2 versus 1 with no time. That is a Black Dragons round, and that is a 3-site sweep.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, really, it just comes down to losing that ram. I mean, it's so important to keep that operator alive on labs. You know, this is an operator that we've seen banned in this map because she's that good. She gets value out of 2 out of the 3 bomb sites. So very, very important to try and keep alive. And sadly, they could not do that. So yeah, clean sweep. 3-0 is how we sit. Now, the ban phase. Yeah, I was going to mention, do we see the clash be banned? It was only brought the 1 time out of the 3 rounds, but I dare say with how bad the clash was as an issue, I respect it. That 1 round, I mean, it started them.
Oh, it's the power of Ask, it's the power of the clash, it's the power of being able to just deliver time and time again, and I mean, that's just rotten time.
Because again, he can do that because there's no verts. Yeah, it all comes back to that first kill and how important that is.
Another technical pause. We find ourselves waiting. We can actually take a moment here, and you're looking in towards the camera. The photographer is shown up. This is why there's a technical pause. It's for us. Stream, you'll have to bear with us. Maybe that'll get posted later.
Maybe.
This is what
depends how much money you're willing to offer up to the media team.
But we now have a 3-site rotation. We have Black Dragons happy in their element. They've been able to pull it off. Yeah. It was exactly the same with Dplus gear last time.
So weird. The perma ban, by the way, 3-0 up. What is it today with teams and the maps that we've seen them ban every single time in every other match? Yet they bring it to SI, and all of a sudden you think, why are you banning that?
Yeah, it's maybe an answer of homework.
It's a weird.
Maybe it's a sort of element of preparation, right? It's the idea of...
But to learn a map in the short turnaround, because obviously we've seen it with Heretics, and we've seen it with Black... I mean, Black Dragons were really late. They were the last qualified team, weren't they? I believe. I mean, we covered this. It was like 2 weeks ago, was it not?
Sorry, I just found out what the tech pause is about.
Would you like to share with the class?
No, it's just a little problem with the keyboard. I believe swapping a keyboard out. But the way Easy, Stefan, our observer, or our in-game director, sorry, delivers these messages to me.
Yeah. In the deadpan kind
in
of
the deadpan Dutch way.
Yeah.
And it makes me smile.
Oh. But I mean, 2 weeks to prep your labs and turn it around, considering that Fortress is also something that a lot of teams were looking at.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and if they've done that, credit to them.
Well, we'll wait and hopefully be back in soon. Currently, obviously, at this pace, at this rate, in this Paris, we might be setting ourselves closer and closer towards another map 3.
Which means points will be split.
You can see them trying to work out the problem with the keyboard.
Can I have a look? I own a keyboard. I think I'm qualified.
You have a keyboard? I don't.
No.
I only use trackpads for my keyboard and
Do you
my
use
mouse.
like the built-in keyboard system on the PC where you then you have to click in the keyboard?
Yeah. No, I voice activate. I'm like, W, shift W.
Oh dear.
Left click. That should be... Is that something we can set up on a keyboard for content? Anyway.
Does it work?
Guess we'll find out.
This is tense. Will the keyboard activate?
This
Ooh.
is tense. It's the music.
If not, what happens? Does he have to get a replicate keyboard? Could it be any keyboard?
I don't know the rules.
Ooh. This is uncharted territory.
can't.
Is it in the rulebook? Have they determined the keyboard rules?
I can't read. If you're unaware of how things have gone so far on this map, it's 3-0. Dplus Kia, unfortunately, unable to get themselves on the board. Their closest was that first round, right? A post plant, they had a 2-man advantage. And they couldn't quite get things otherwise put together. So at this point, they're probably looking at this as, I'm not going to say a reset in some ways, getting your head back together.
Just slows down the process.
I feel like asking you like a million euro question.
All right, go on then. What's it gonna be?
Demo. I need to know, what was Jesse J. Chick's previous caster name?
Oh.
I'll give you 4 options. Was it Cool Boy Jesse? Was it B, Pengu? Was it C, Easy Stefan? Or was it D, Corn Pop?
I think I'd like to use one of my lifelines.
Okay, which one?
I'd like to use Ask the Chat.
Ask the chat. Chat? We actually can't read chat. Okay, they've typed.
Yeah. Maybe someone from production if they are.
You guessed B, Pengu, you are wrong.
Well, I was also going to use phone a friend, and it would have been, I would have phoned.
You would have phoned Jesse.
Yeah, I would have phoned him.
Imagine
Yeah.
if we did a call-in.
Bomb located by
The
attackers.
call-in was... We're back in the game. We don't have to do any more million euro questions. A call-in to get an answer to something like that. And you don't tell the talent,
but then
the caster, the analyst.
But what Jesse would do is he'd stitch me up and tell me the wrong answer.
Yeah, he would. Anyway, we're back in. Thank you for staying with us. Everything is fixed. And Black Dragons, happy to go back to the start. And where did it start? Down in the basement. And what did we base it on? A Blackbeard getting a plant and then things just kind of falling apart. Hey, remember, at the start of this, there was a moment where you said, Mr. Outlaw, you gotta do something. 6-1. He has been doing things. He's been really in his element this map.
We'll also note with the lineup from Dplus, not a lot of options whenever it comes to hard breaching. They've only got 2 tin openers, so I would naturally assume that they're going to try and stay away from the main breach. They're just going to try and go for the hatches and use the verticality. They have the ramp. Well, hopefully they can keep the ramp alive this time, and it won't cause any issues for them. Also brought in, I think, maybe worrying more about the roamers again. You've got, of course, the Dogui, which they had the last time, but then also Bullet on the Nomad, just to try and keep them at bay if they can. I mean, they're going to have to fight roamers. I mean, this is pretty common knowledge at this stage, the way Black Dragons have been operating on labs here today.
Well, the Ram gets some work done and unfortunately meets an end with a Goyo. As that burns, it'll just sort of sit, wait, and try and get some of the more pressure else on. In fact, it wasn't a Goyo, it was a pipe, sorry. An destructible ingredient. They're going to keep their rammer rolling, get themselves locked in again above. They're doing bit by bit, but it's actually Nears that wants to be the first port of call. And with players still on the top floor looking for their own engagement, he's cut himself down. On towards the fight elsewhere, and he's looking for this, but this might alert those roaming players to start trying to piece their way back in. Will they get caught out? It's Mr. Outlaw and I think Miracle off on a bit of an adventure elsewhere.
I'm actually surprised. Falzage used one of the tin openers to get himself in towards Animus. So they're just going directly horizontal. They're not really worried about the traditional vertical take. But the long angles, there's the TCSG, able to pick up the first kill.
I mean, you've still got this happening on the top floor as well, right? The Dockerby's trying to hunt down somebody who's otherwise not really been pushed out of position, but they're alone. Instead, it's more fighting here at Animus. The kid is isolated. They're just kind of looking at applying several different approaches, and neither is really working. There goes your Ram. They're just going on a bit of a retake here because why not? We've not really been forced out of position. Let's take more. Midi takes chunks of damage, has a Gumine in foot. There's the cut across, and yeah, this was almost like throwing plans and approaches at a wall and hoping one would stick. Unfortunately, everything has just sort of slipped away.
Yeah, just... I think they were really hoping that they would pick up just a quick couple of cheap kills where they just walk down and find somebody just looking into the air. It hasn't worked out for them. They've obviously took that gamble where they thought they could just walk into the bomb site. Once that didn't work and everyone kind of caught on to the idea, angles were being held, they thought, okay, now I have to go back upstairs. But that's then where the roamers who are still upstairs are going to come in to bite you. And that's exactly what's happened. Yeah, just a bit of a disaster round overall from Dplus. I mean, it's been a disaster map.
So remaining site's gonna be second floor and the control, right? So we ban Clash. We can play the Blackbeard's play on the top floor. They have nothing, right? Only for the mirror. So we might have the G2 split on the second floor. And control, they got play the 3 guys on the top floor, 2 guys on the bomb site. But there's no anti-denial plan. So maybe we can try to jump in the bomb site.
Right.
Yep. Então, ó, basicamente é o seguinte, guys, vamos de cima, como eu falei, mano, vamos jogar splitando. Joga você lá pelo verde agora, tá, ô...
Tá,
ô Gal.
beleza.
Daí
o Gal ou eu?
O Gal não, o
né?
Elite.
Ah.
Você, ô Levi, joga de blitz, tá?
Tá,
Então na água, fica escondido na água pra gente, vai dar bom.
Beleza.
Vambora.
Bora lá. Bora.
We got... I understood half of it.
Oh yeah, what was the bit you got?
Well, obviously what the coach said. That was in English and then it transitioned. Yeah, look, obviously that's him noting what the splits are. You know, and you can see that it's the heavy roam game that Black Dragons are going for. And whenever I say heavy, it's a 3-2 split.
Yep.
You know, they're playing, debalanced in the actual bomb site, and they're really going for that roam game, and that is what is slowing down the approach here from Dplus. And it just feels as though Dplus a little bit too timid for my liking. They don't look as though they're up for the fight compared to what it was in Clubhouse, which is just, it's completely different vibe. And it's strange. You know, after the way they played at Clubhouse, why would they be scared to go and challenge roamers?
10 seconds remaining.
It's... Again, I don't want to be like, this is probably it,
5
because
seconds left.
it was what we sort of talked about in the first best of 3, but the knowledge of what is going on with your opponent seems to be a problem. The same way for the preparation, right? They couldn't prepare for this map because the data is so old. And they go in instead of this expectation of what the game is, and the game isn't that. And it becomes this pooled gambit, this pooled bait of, to be fair, these players will know how each other likes to play because of the history.
Yeah, they all know each other. They've all played in the 10-mans together.
Now, let's see where the fight starts here on towards IT. They're just going to watch and wait and hope that they can get somebody from this mirror window, but nobody is trying to get the peek out yet. Instead, get the breach done elsewhere. Quick work, quick focus, and quick attention towards walls, which, to be fair, without any of the electrics, hard to sort of slow down.
Yeah. And don't forget, there's no clash this time.
No.
And this was the whole reason why they went for that ban. It is for this specific site. So in theory, you would hope taking rafters should be a lot easier this time.
Yep.
And I also like the fact that they brought in the addition of Levy on the Blitz. Blitz is great at just jumping in through the garage window and clearing out rafters too. So they have a lot of options. If they want to go the rafters alternative, they can do so. You've got the operators there to do it.
Now, hoping that they can get a fight here on towards the electrical cupboard, and lucky to not get caught out, but they still double down. Mr. Outlaw, huge amount of damage there, but, well, we didn't see the tail end of that fight, but it's not one that either actually died in. Instead, it's still pressure here across IT, across the top. They're rolling out those drones, seeing what utility they can steal, but unfortunately the only thing they stealed was being shot. The swing up, and that's the second player. Now on just tiny little bit of health. It will take a breeze to knock either of them away, but as the bolts start to pop out, they can use this. Get themselves pushed up, get themselves close, and get themselves ready to swing on towards our position.
Oh, a Levy backstab in through Fish. He is going to be supported, I believe, by Mitty, so he's going to just try and power his way through, but 2 kills have come in and nowhere.
No.
And that goes the Blitz fully blinded.
And there's a flank on the flank.
Oh,
Swag
dear.
coming up behind him. He's about to swing on. There it is. And it's a 2 versus 1. They've somehow been able to pull this back into control. Swag gets one more.
Somebody crack a joke? That's quite the laugh. Oh, you just think, okay, finally, Dplus. Looking a lot better. And then, nope, it's gone.
5 in a row. 5 in a row here. And I don't think we've had a 7-0 yet on the day.
This day one, I hope not.
Well, you never know.
This could be the first.
International scene. But it is that bit of a worry. I mean, it was great there from Mitty to be able to swing to 2 targets, connect. It almost brought hope back. But then there was Swag.
That was quite the laugh.
Having a great time. Had a great flank. Swam up Fish. 5.
Love the way I feel as though you missed an opportunity there. Wherever you said, oh, there's a flank on the fish and the flank. You love that one, the flank on the flank.
Yeah.
You could have said there's always a bigger fish.
Oh, I did miss it.
That would have been a good one.
I missed it.
It's okay, you'll get the next one.
Attackers must locate.
There's plenty more fish in the sea.
No, you lost it. No, you lost it. No. Stay down.
She's back. Fresh laugh.
He laughs at anything.
That's true.
It's not a reliable source. Look, he's laughing right now. See, I just said that.
Yeah, that's true.
They called him Mr. Chuckles back in school days.
You were there? Did you read his school report?
No, he went to school in like the 1800s, Jack? Yeah.
You went to
1800s.
clown school. Mr. Chuckles was actually the bachelorette degree. Dplus Kia. You said it before, that was the closest round they've been. They had great pockets of control. They could not cement the 2 kills that they were so close to. That was a big bit of a problem there. If they had been able to get either one of those, suddenly they have
fine margins. Fine margins the way that they're playing.
And both of them were a breath, a glimpse from being caught out. And they worried about probably an air jab.
Yep.
Just so they can keep the rotate round. They use the impact. Great position. Swag is, a bit lucky to survive there. I mean, he quickly peeked it, but that's what Bullet was waiting for and didn't have the right bullet for it. Another air jab, another bit of the positional control, but at this point, you know, pulled out, got himself free of that position. And it's just sort of later utility. And again, it's the idea of cementing the kills. Mr. Outlaw steps his way in, hits the Goyo. They can pull back and think about, obviously, where the side is, the control they want. They want IT! And he just goes and retakes it. Almost catches the ram as well. He's double dipping, but this awful close. Levy takes a lot of damage securing that kill, but Mr. Outlaw just swinging IT demo. Almost got 2.
Oh, big play. And a C4 now, just to scratch him, will take down Levy. So, yeah, that extra bit of damage onto the ram is very important. Oh, great shot though. Ask takes a back seat now, and they're ready to go for the plant. Look at Fowls outside the window. Should just be a 3-2-1 collapse.
You can see they're trying to reposition, and Swag's trying to retake as well. Get the keepers in, get the wall up, and get themselves dropped from the top rope. There's the trade out. Oh, he gets the second Swag! Where's it with some swagger? There's Miracle on the retake, and again, we see a collapse here of Dplus Kia inside the final 40 seconds. I mean, I'm pulling the same expressions. Swag, what a round.
Dplus, I feel, are just setting up well, and then the mid-round happens, and it's like Cinderella. Clock strikes midnight, and it's gone. Honestly, I'm really confused, because again, I think their setup looks really good. This time, they had IT open, they had the vertical there, but then, as the player jumps in through storage to start looking for a plant, he dies to somebody underneath the vert that they made because no one's on the vert. They're doing things and they're not using the things that they've done. It is confusing. Just a map to forget. I think they know it's going next. I think they know at this stage.
I mean, it's, you know, you can't entirely pin things on one thing or another. Again, we're not in their comms, we don't really know, but you look at the expressions and it's sort of just, yeah, it's done. It's 6-0. They have to be flawless. It's happened many, many times in this game, in this stage, in SI, in probably in the last time we were in Paris as well. Here, look, gets one, almost gets the ram as well. But you're looking at the other player who can swing from that position. They're making sure they don't double swing.
Yeah, they obviously, we've seen the impact used on the air jab, but he didn't replace the air jab that time, and he took advantage of it. He swung out of IT because there wasn't an air jab. It wasn't down quick enough.
That was criminal. Nah, got the loss. I mean, great positional. Sorry, as you say, great pause. Yep. Great pause. Great pause. I forgot you're in a rush.
I love that my lingo's starting to...
I always forget you're in a rush.
Ready, set.
Great pause. Next word.
just the way it is. Great pause. Great ang. Just angle.
Great ang. You cut 2 letters of that one. Position is at least a 3-syllable word, and you're getting it down to 1 syllable.
Is there anything wrong with great pause and great ang? I don't think so.
I think when you say great ang, I think of the Avatar. So
of course,
that's a great ang. Mastered all 4 elements.
Airbending master by the time he was 12.
Ugh. I was going to say something else there and talk about the show, and I would have spoiled anything, but if you've not watched it, go watch it. Anyway, 6-0. The things you talk about. We have a double hard breach ban. We have 1 Electrics, 1 Mirror. She's great at, obviously, extension, we know that, but also we've already seen how she's used to make walls awkward.
Yeah, awkward, yeah.
And when you're having hard breach removed, it's just nicer to not have to deal with that. You'd rather not deal with that more than you would not deal with the Kaid or the Bandit or fight whichever one you banned first.
Yeah. Especially whenever they're confident that the Maverick can do the job for them. Just completely skip over any electrifications. Obviously, then, I would say the downside is you then kind of have to do the Maverick dance, where you have to be careful of a C4. That could just land at your feet. But he doesn't have to do any of that, as there's no C4s at all on the side of Dplus.
No, instead, they've obviously got themselves some structure. They got themselves the chance to swing on and what they can rebuild. Bullet on the clash. But otherwise, let's see what can be removed here. It's been a long time since Black Dragons have been putting pressure on the attack. It's been a long half, but it's been a flawless one. They just have to get one over the line. And as that slips away, Arstars take a little bit of damage, but again, it's probably more frustrating for Dplus Kia. They took a risk and it didn't pay off. And they've had a lot of moments like that where they've taken for a fight and it doesn't pay off. They almost get that one and it doesn't pay off, but they do finally get security on the end of one of their gun engagements, and it's Ask. Capitao off the board. Rare is hoping this player drifts on by, but with the man advantage, well, there's nothing that's going to force them apart from you.
Well, Miracle able to get that kill back. Minute left. Smokes already being used. I mean, in terms of time management, perfect. Already, a minute left and the smokes are coming out. Yeah, the attackers are thinking, wow, we've got so much room to breathe. And there's the last one, just under the minute mark. In goes the bees as well. But that clash, that has to come back to that operator. How is that going to impact the round?
Swag wants to make his way up towards Fish and see if he can go for a bit of a backstab, but it's going to be slightly noisy. So get this open quite quickly and then put the pressure on. 30 seconds, and now they'll know that there's this position. Almost gets that engagement. They've also gone round towards the top of the Fish door itself. They've not quite been knocked out, but there's at least the first engagement. Rare is found. A 4 versus 3 as Miracle finds one. There's almost the tag on the next. Everybody is getting a little bites of each other, but it's suddenly all popped up for Dplus Kia. We haven't had a 7-0 yet, and we still won't.
Well, they stopped that from happening. I don't know how the castle's alive and all that. He was getting shot by everyone. And he just stayed prone, just stayed on his belly. I mentioned as well about the clash. The position of the clash was very weird compared to how we've seen her be played today. Just sat at the back of sight behind the shield.
Yeah.
Not getting active, not looking to assist. Just, I'm playing for myself. I don't care if you guys die.
They're not going to get this bit of ground, let me tell you.
They're not walking in that IT today.
Hey, man, they're in rafters. They've taken... Nope.
No, I'm not.
I don't care.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. They're going to have to get a wrecking ball to get me out of reinforced wall. 6-1, and they'll have to make the perfect rotation. This is the problem, though. Let's be honest, 7-0 is nice, fine. Moving on to the next map's nice, is fine. It's not about that site. It's not about this site. It's about the site after this one. That's the sticky one.
Your camera feed up and running.
I mean, still, basement. We've seen the diffuser go down already this map, so there is still possibilities for the attackers to win
10
this.
seconds remaining.
I do feel as though in terms of this map, this is the bomb site that I feel
5
you have
seconds to
so
go.
many different options in terms of attacks. You know, and we've seen them. You think about traditional
must locate
upstairs
and
using the
defuse the
vert,
bomb.
dropping down, going for the plant. We've seen standard open up the double breach and try and walk in and plant under the cover of util and smokes. We've seen the quick rushes where teams have opened up the double, smoked out with glass, a blitz goes in, plants on his back.
Yep.
So many different options that you can really go with to get creative. So I think this is the bomb site where the attackers just have so much free range to really go down any avenue.
Got themselves the Blackbeard leading in on the side of a Deimos that, again, Mr. Outlaw has been craving engagements. Oh, and he's using his friend's drones there to just get a bit of a read through. And yeah, if you've got an entry and you want to prop him up, it's a great way. Give yourself the information so he knows how to act. And oh, again, these near misses are just never ending. I mean, puts the pressure on. Nia's ending almost happened as well. The follow through. The castle takes a lot of damage. There's a popping pipe and some more and more forcing back down, but they're just seeing if they can get a single player out of this. Nobody. It's Midi, though. That's loose.
Oh, do they know? I don't think it. They've tracked the Valkyrie instead. So he can possibly go unchecked here. Does have an impact, could make an impact hole in the vert if he wanted to, if he gets the call that they're now upstairs inside of storage, but I think he wants the player who entered in through connector, but just gonna bide his time, sees there's a bit of vert, maybe. Yeah, I think he might just linger for the vert here.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you'll get the audio, you'll get the message that they're rotating. Not entirely sure what else they have utility-wise, but you know it's a great crossing. You know it's a lead through on towards, obviously, that back take, that whole bit of control here. And yeah, Mr. Outlaw's on this, but
I have no idea he's up there.
no, the ram rolls on. Swag was close to being caught, I think, for a second, but instead, there's the vertical, there's the opening, and there's... Oh, no! Swag, and there's just a kill to show you how this map has gone. 5 versus 4, 50 seconds. And the first smoke canister pops as well. They're going to waste some time, but Miracle gets Levy.
Yeah, just take your time. I mean, they're pumping up the smokes like there's no tomorrow. I mean, fouls, nobody's really pushing that. You've just wasted a smoke for no real reason. They're still trying to get set up and seeing if they can go for this plant diffuser being rotated now towards the main breach.
Rare has gone down. That is your Blackbeard caught out elsewhere. They should be able to get the player up, but 20 seconds and they need to go for the execute. They're trying to bait a C4. That's what that first smoke canister is. There's the cover of the next. They're just going to swing round, get the second, and locked in, and pre-fired and found his way through, but it's Nears, gets 2, locks him in. There's the cross to divide, the plant position, but he's able to at least get 1 before he heads down and hopes for the best. There's 2 more quick kills, falls, all down to him for the hope of the map in this round itself, but no! That is a return to form and a force, not a 7-0, but not much better. And we are off to a map 3 demo.
Yeah, the man count, I think, came in big. As they're going in for the plant, they know they have enough cover. There's enough men there to make sure that plant goes down. And yeah, just Black Dragons. Great performance from them. Dplus, a map to forget.
Swag as well, 11-3.
He had the turn and burn in that last round as well.
Oh, unbelievable end. And it was only really in that last sort of 3 rounds, 4 rounds, where he got most of that work done. And if he's found his form and he's going to bring it in, I guess that's something we'll have to wait and see until after this quick break.
Black Dragons not just looking great outside of the game, but also in the game with a 7-1. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, was this Dplus's #1 preference map?
It was.
And was this Black Dragons permaban for the last year and a half?
It also was.
So what the hell happened?
I don't know. I would like to say I do know. Of course, you know, we saw what happened out on the server, and I think realistically, I think Dplus just got their game plan wrong. You know, it's hard to attack onto Nighthaven Labs. It's also harder when you continue committing mistakes consistently. We saw them on their operator bans. They banned away the Bandit, the Kaid, and the Clash. So what does that tell me when that's going to happen? It means you're going to be able to breach walls for free. Reminder, mute doesn't affect Ace anymore, so your wall breaching is for free. So you just need to work the walls systematically and then create pressure. What were Black Dragons doing? They were trying to be cheesy. They were trying to be mischievous. They were what were Dplus doing? They were trying to be cheesy, mischievous. And when that happens, you're just going to get hosed down. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's also not really going to work because you're banning those operators. What are the defenders going to play? Trap operators, info operators, Azami, Goyo. So, and you're not bringing the utility to deal with that either. So it really looked like Dplus didn't really have a good understanding of what they wanted to go forward with. That being said, too, this being the permaban for Black Dragons put Dplus in a position where they can't use that experience to be able to take advantage of the other team. They didn't know what they were going to be walking into, and it didn't look like they really adapted in time. And it's a shame because that was the reason why they won map 1 was the experience.
Yeah, I feel like I'm seeing kind of history repeat itself, right? Because this was the same things that were leveled at them in Munich. They were really good when they were able to counter-strat and get on a map that they knew what their opponent was going to do and beat them on it. As soon as they had to think on their feet a little bit, it went wrong. And that's exactly what happened inside of this map as well.
Yeah, we're seeing that here, but we're seeing of one player in particular as well. The Falls off on the side of Dplus. Falls having an amazing performance on map 1, but going rather quiet on the second map.
Yeah, I mean, it's so to happen, especially when you are just having a very rough go of it when it comes down to how you want to be able to attack, especially if you're going to be on more supportive roles, be in a position where you're going to be trying to find opening up those walls and droning for your teammates. If your entries aren't able to get kills or nothing's able to come from it, it really puts you in a position as a support where you're not going to do much. If you're put in a bad start from the beginning, it just didn't look like he really had an opportunity to do anything because everything for Dplus Kia was not working out.
It gets very exaggerated on those roles, doesn't it? You know, if your teammates aren't doing a lot around you, you end up just finding yourself in tricky spots and you just get levered. That's what happens, and I think we saw that in his stats though.
Yeah, when we're looking at the stats in general, the scoreboard of this game, it was just a clear statement, I believe, on the side of Black Dragons to bounce map in a map like this where we talked about elimination so early on in the tournament. But now again, looking at these entries, it seems again Black Dragons are getting them, but this time they're also pulling up the routes.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't believe, I want to set the stakes here. I don't think Black Dragons necessarily won that game as decisively as it looked. It's Labs defense. Black Dragons had no footage to give Dplus Kia. Everything was put in their favor from the beginning. Yeah, that's a situation where if you get the first pick on a map like Labs, there's no room for error. There's no reason for you to lose, especially when everything was in your favor. So for me, I really don't feel like Black Dragons was tested enough in my opinion, and it doesn't make me feel too confident, even though it was a 7-1, that map 3 will be just as easy.
I was on Rookie Watch during that game because I wanted to see if Swag continued through his good form. He did, but really, Outlaw had a really bad first game, but coming into the second map, he actually went positive, had a good performance in that second map as well. So I think now we saw their timeout. Maria translated it for us. It was about nerves. It was about feeling. It's just the first game of 4. That's what their coach was telling them. And I think they've settled into it and then showed us the true Black Dragons.
Yeah, it seemed like some of the older players are getting a bit tired here with some yawns, left, right, center we're seeing. But it comes down to a final map. Lair, as I heard, a mid-preference for both these teams, but essentially back down to a 1v1 to determine our winner. But the map is ready, so we'll send it to our casters.
Thank you very much, and well, you are going to open us up with a fun fact demo.
Was I?
Yeah, about the map.
Yeah, typically whenever we kind of see, I'm actually doing their job. This is the analyst job.
Oh, okay, then hopefully they're listening.
This typically the third map that we see in the series, it's open for both teams. This is massively a favorite of Dplus. Since this team moved themselves over into APAC, they've not lost this map.
Well, let's go for a quick look at the where and the why. It's time for the how. We'll see how the series comes together in its final map. Can't go anywhere else from here.
Did you mention the who? Did you leave that bit out?
I was desperately trying to think of a Who song to sing as a response, but I couldn't in time. Anyway.
Yeah, Lair, I mean...
You were saying.
Yeah, it's great map for Dplus.
Yeah.
Typically a map that teams, started banning against them because they realized, hold on, they're actually pretty good at this. We shouldn't take them there. Whereas for Black Dragons, last time they played Lair was in the match to qualify for this event against Liquid, and they lost it. Actually came from one map behind to beat Liquid too. So, yeah, I think overall, in terms of this map, I'm leaning towards Dplus, but momentum is one hell of a thing.
Oh, it's such an important thing.
And at the moment, Black Dragons, who can pull them down?
Well, we unfortunately are starting with a little bit more tension music. I saw
Not
Jet.
another question.
You and I. No, I was.
I'm not ready for this.
I was really tempted to do a question, but I will instead tell the story that we bumped into Jesse, interrupted his dinner.
Yes, we didn't really bump into him. We just went and said, "You're not eating anybody. Listen to us."
Listen to this story.
Put your knife and fork down. Put the food down. Get that bread roll out your mouth.
He guessed it right, surprisingly.
Yeah.
They're playing rock, paper, scissors. Who is us playing against? Oh, Miracle.
Miracle.
They just do rock, paper.
The thing is, we don't know who's winning. Right, here we go. They're doing it again. No. Oh.
That was what we were waiting for, by the way.
know.
That's what the tech pause was for. They had to settle that. Thank you, production, for being so welcoming.
I'll have to get the VAR on that.
Do you do rock, paper, scissors, or do you do rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Culturally, like Twitch chat and chats and YouTube chat. Do you do rock, paper, scissors, as they were doing, or do you do rock, paper, scissors, shoot? That's just a fun little thing for you to think about as we get into the third map.
Why doesn't everyone play it in the chat? Let's play it in chat.
Okay.
Okay, chat. Me versus you guys.
All right.
You ready?
I will tell you what demo throws.
Okay. Here we go.
Live.
Here we go. Here we go.
Attackers have discovered
Rock,
the location
paper,
of a bomb.
scissors.
10 seconds to go.
Demo played paper.
5 seconds.
There you go.
Played
before
scissors.
insertion.
You won. Congratulations.
Yep.
Anyway, who wins? Not Smoke.
Attackers are moving
This is
to
probably
defuse
the
the bomb.
first Smoke ban I think we've had
Yes.
today.
But I like it because it's this map, and this top floor is pretty tricky to kind of break through. We've looked at top floor layer before. We've kind of seen that this is the new meta that has appeared, where teams will set up that kind of first layer defense in towards operations room. You will then fall back, and you will play very heavy into the denial phase. You're going to be looking at your Smoke and your Chanka because they can get some cracking lineups into the blind spot plant position. So, yeah, no surprise to see that operator being banned out here, but you still have to deal with the Chanka. You're getting no way around that unless you went for the double down, which I don't think was going to happen.
Well, that is their first port of call, as you said. They're going to see if they can get themselves into ops and then operate their way across that walkway onto Mez. Force the players further and further back and just try and potentially even shove your way up where the Deimos is going up the stairs. But he is going to maybe make a friend down on that side. Instead, actually, no. Swag is going to come and support over here. They're going to leave the bottom of the stairs. In fact, no. I'm going to just stop talking because never let them know your next move. That's the movement of Blackbeard. An easy one to predict as he pushes his way up towards Op, gets deep all the way to the mirror window and just smashes it. This pressure is quite nice. They can still swing over the top, maybe even try and use that Tachanka to just hit the Shumika launchers on towards the opposite end. It's not the best way because you can always get swung on. It's a door. You're getting yourself into a tricky position. But it is a thing you can do. Yeah,
this is where Tachanka is great because either which way you go, if you're going to go default, go in through ops and try and make a play through the main breach, or if you try and go in the other side and try and push in from green, either which way, it's going to be a bottleneck. And that is where Tachanka excels. He's going to be able to slow you down and stop you. It's not an open space where you're not going to get the value. You will be bunched up and you will start to get burned out. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Rare gives away an absolute freebie. Nears just walks round the corner and catches the BB as he's unshielded.
They're trying to get themselves swung around either side. They're looking for the pressure itself. And, oh, it's actually dropped on the other end of it. There's one more that falls to the favor of Bullet. A 5 versus 3 situation, and now they're looking for the smoke.
See if the Glaz can get a bit of value here. No smokes left, though. So we're going to see if we can just pick up kills, but Swag, as Jack mentioned, on the desk, the rookie watch. First big tournament for him, and sees another as they swing over towards Art, and also the long rotate comes in from Miracle. Gonna just straight away jump in through the window. Nade misses, but that's enough to force them into Swag, now into a 2v3. Make that 2v2 as there was a down. Fouls, they know he's there, they see him go for the revive. He's gonna try and play for the kill. Miracle picks up one. 3 seconds to find the Tachanka. Can he do it? No! He's gonna be out of time. Tachanka, light footwork to stay out of that one.
I mean, as close as you like, right? You couldn't have gotten yourself into more of a sort of sticky situation. You had to throw, and it's the, I guess we've talked about the sort of narrow margins, but Black Dragons are knocking on the door. They're desperately looking for just any kind of opportunity there to push that one a little step over. Compare that to the first map.
Yeah.
Compare that to where we were and where we were able to sort of get to. That is the energy from the second map. That is what they had built up in Nighthaven Labs in that sort of position. And I mean, as close as it could possibly be, Demo.
Yeah, it just comes down to what, maybe if he had an extra 2 seconds, he possibly could have chased down the Tachanka, but time was not with him. See that, just good little footwork there from Levy. Oh, actually, you know, he rotates in front of the rotate as he's came around the corner. Just brilliant time, and it's like, you know, it's like an old black and white film where they're kind of going through the doors and they've just missed each other.
2 ships
10 seconds
passing in the night.
It's like the doors in Scooby-Doo, that's another one. That's a classic.
We're making
5
so many
seconds
ghost
left.
references today.
It's not even Halloween.
Woo, but that's
Attackers
at least
objective
2
is to
months away.
locate a
Well, I
bomb
think
and
ghosts,
defuse
I think they live all year round. I don't think they're specific for one.
Ghosts are not just for Halloween, gang. Ghosts are for all year. Listen, I'm dressed very goth today, to be fair. I tried to match the design of the set for the first day. I think I've done well. You wore black because you like to.
I just wear the clothes, you know me.
Very stylish, no? Yeah, well, you wear the clothes, don't let the clothes wear you.
I just wanted to check, by the way, I never mentioned about the ghost. It is Friday the 13th this month, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Just to let you know. Spooky.
I don't know if I can survive. Rare almost caught out. We're still in this world of Dplus key and near misses, right? We're still in this element where they just cannot get the cement onto these engagements, and now Nias is gone. Black Dragons have that opening.
Ask, able to pick up a kill. Would be nice though if they could keep this ledge alive, because that is really their only form of soft destruction. And don't forget what bomb site we're on. It is going to be that basement, so having just a little bit of soft destruction, open an angle here or there would be pretty handy. But still, Roamer's upstairs inside of Medicals where Bullet's going to try and cement himself. His teammate Malusi will be tracked. Is anyone going to try and help Bullet, or is he just there to play his life? That's the question.
Ooh, put round to the bottom of green, just forcing the position there and getting them rid, but still with this time ticking, it just worries you more than anything, right? It's, if you're looking at these positions, how much they're trying to waste. Bullet, again, on this deep sort of position, holding and hoping. The thing is, Black Dragons, they've kept themselves super close together. I mean, 3, 2, 1.
Bomb located by attackers.
Come on, surely you hear him sledging beside you. Come on.
He hears him, but look at, he's waiting for Levy.
Yeah, nice.
Waiting for Levy, waiting for the support to come through and playing his trade game, because he doesn't just want to get instantly caught out with the position that they have. Levy couldn't get anything either. In fact, there's only 2 players on the site, and you sort of go in, okay, the same questions that you and I asked about Black Dragons, have you got to operate? You've got to operate here. You're in the medical room. Do something. There's the do something, and there's the, oh no, he did something. Ask. Right position, right place, right response. And I mean, just got a bit unlucky how far away the player had gone. And 30 seconds though, Demo. How will this one come together? Well, they know where he is. They're just going to tuck the plant. There is at least a drive through, and 3 versus 2 versus 2 versus... Oh! Down to the narrow margin. Suddenly, everything exploded. Midi almost gets caught out. They're putting the pressure on. They're just going to go for the cover in the plant itself. It's a 2 versus 1. You have a Blackbeard. You don't have to put this down to just watch it. The prone. He prone peaked.
Oh, slivers his way through.
Is it, you know, certain character from a stealth video game series that we might have seen on the Rainbow Six socials not too long ago. Sneaking around like a bit of a ground lizard with no legs. This, I mean, you're taking a risk when you do that move, regardless of how close they are. We, as the audience, see how close that is.
This was a round where a lot of things could have happened, a lot of different multiverses there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of F buts and maybes, but sadly, I don't do absolute, so.
You don't do absolute?
No.
Okay. One apiece.
So, you look at that round, you think, okay, basement, again, could have went a little bit better, maybe if the roamers kind of roamed a bit more rather than sitting in corners with an impact grade in their hand for the majority of the round.
Yep.
So they're going to go for the repeat. You know, and again, we mentioned this before. Is the mentality team's going to be where you just keep changing the bomb site? I also think in the grand scheme of things, whenever you look at the third option bomb sites, you may as well just play the basement again, because the third bomb site choice is also pretty difficult. We've seen that before plenty of times whenever we, well, I hope we will see it at some point, and we'll touch on it when we get to it.
Curious which way this entry kill is going to go, and more importantly, how late it's going to go, whichever way it goes, because that was obviously a big problem in the first round. You can see Black Dragons are being so aggressive with their pace. They realize the problems that they had on club, and they're making sure that they keep, as I said before, the lessons learned in the middle. Here, with a lot of the hard breach in towards the pressure, getting one of their opening 2, great. If they get themselves 3 of the total 6, they're probably going to be very comfortable going on to their defense with how we saw them operate, with the sort of quick player moments. Here, Rare on the Blackbeard, waiting for the chance at the fight on the swing at the bottom of green. They have a bit of the cross-section, but it's Nia's caught out by Ars. Quick reaction, and the Vigil gone.
Yeah, here comes the shield. This is going to be the main issue for these roamers. It's bearing down any of the 4. They're all very difficult. You have to play very different against every single one of them. Rare is in, and actually exposing himself to the corridor and exposing himself to the man that he was hunting for originally. Rare just can't get it right at the moment.
Levy's gone down. They don't really know that, but Mr. Outlaw's just killed everybody else, so just bullet left now. Let's see if he can get anything as a sort of consolation prize for a round that we're probably just as likely to see the word flawless on the middle of our screen. There it is.
Put that crystal ball away.
All right. Run away with the rest of the mess I've made.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell everyone.
I'm going to tell everybody.
If you want to, by all means.
I'm happy to tell everybody. I opened a drink at the start of this map. Stay hydrated. We talk a lot. And apparently the drink had been fizzed up a little bit, and I had to use my arm to stop it spinning over the table.
That's just everyone. I'm casting. I'm tuned in. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Watching the cast. I do my little part because again, there's 2 of us, so we can't have.
There is 2 of us.
We do parts. and I've passed over Emmy, and I've looked over. And there's just, I don't know, a dam has been fortified. And that's actually the rushing streams of a liquid.
I protected the table. Also, shout out to production. They were very quick to come and
We've actually had mid-cast, somebody has cleaned the table in front of us. Like, the cleaning crew has been in.
Listen.
It's all happened in the space of 2 rounds.
We have an area that we grab drinks on near where we cast, and somebody has played a cruel prank. Yeah. It's all fine now. Everything's fine.
You're banned from any liquids in this that you are banned.
Yeah, I've taken everything off the table now. I've put it to the side of the table. Anyway.
10 seconds to insertion.
Black Dragons. Full focus now. Black Dragons get themselves again 1 step in the lead. And as I said, if they're able to piece together 3 attack rounds here, I mean, that'll be very happy for them for the half. They'll be probably pretty locked in, especially with how the last map went as well, with how Dplus Kia sort of struggled getting the connection in, getting themselves locked off. I mean, there's always the chance that as soon as we hit that 3rd round, whether it's now, whether it's in 2 rounds' time, Dplus Kia might call themselves a timeout. Probably not at the half itself. If it's 3 apiece. Got to give credit here towards Ask, to be fair, as that super experienced player from this roster, recent sort of, you know, player on the biggest stages, setting themselves in. He needs to be a talisman player. They talked about it on the desk. yeah, they're on rookie watch, great. And it's great. You see, that sounded a bit more sarcastic. It is great. You want to see how these players operate. Mr. Outlaw, you want to see how Swag does. But you also need to see how people like Ask do. You need to see the game that they can put forward. And 6-1 currently has a pretty decent game. He's delivering. Ask and you shall receive.
Seems to be a much more traditional take compared to the last time we were up here in the attack. They tried to kind of force their way in through green, but now this seems to be pretty traditional in through ops, up into take Mez. So this is where the Tachanka is going to be the problem. This is where you'd expect to see the Shimika launcher get a lot of value here for the defense. And it is just down to Black Dragons to see how quickly they can burn through all that util and try and go for that plan as best as they can. Wall will be opened up, plenty of EMPs being tossed to counter any electrifications that the Cade could have placed down.
He tried it.
Yeah. Well, also, I believe he was behind the desk at one point, but then has decided, yeah, I kind of need to fall back from this position. We don't have the Izami.
Shumika in this position, though. I mean, who else could you really want? Gets the self in, gets the bounce. It's well practiced and well lined up. They can try and use the Capital bolts to cover, but they don't have the breach open. They're going from the single angle, and at what point do you sort of go, okay, this is the smart move, because you can put the shield on your back and try and get the plant on the top, but at this point, look, you're just cooked, right? There's the breach, there's the opener on the opposite end. They give themselves a second angle. Oh, this we have seen before. Crawled into position, had it re-ripped. They don't know about it. Ready to loose it at a moment's notice. Super dangerous place. Trusts the cover of his team. And that's the important thing. In fact, maybe doesn't. The first does get caught out. There's the follow through, the response. There's a shotgun locking it down on the back. And that approach, not quite sharp enough.
Yeah, and this is why the Tachanka becomes a problem. You can understand why they also banned the smoke, because imagine dealing with both of that. But Tachanka just so strong for that bomb site. Really, really is. He's safely being able to ricochet it off. He's not going to be in a position where, as he has the launcher in his hand, he's going to get swung. He is right at the back of sight. No danger at all. And yeah, it's just so easy for them just to kill that round. But Black Dragons, I mean, whenever you're under that pressure and you realize, okay, we're against the Tachanka, we're not going to get into a position where we can plant through the breach. That's where you start rotating and hitting the art side. You start hitting another part of the map that the Tachanka's not going to get the same value out of.
And, as you sort of put it right there, I think they did try and get onto art towards the end. We could see a couple of deaths in the corridor.
But it should be the Blackbeard leading that charge. You have to place the right operators in the right position.
I think there was also, for what we saw in terms of pressure, there wasn't really anything on Skybridge. There wasn't really anything on the breach until late. And, top green was left alone. But also, they tried to solve the problem very directly. It didn't work, and it's traded rounds still. 2 apiece, but here, now we go on to what could be sort of most teams tertiary, obviously.
This is the fun one.
This is where the fun begins. You got a sense, you kind of get an idea on what this approach is going to be, but the first thing is always getting that external wall popped open.
Yeah, and again, the way this bomb site will be played, very rarely you would see players inside the bomb site. At max, it's one person. Mostly because it's a very claustrophobic site. It's not massively big. It has that exterior breach, which also just limits one bomb site immediately. And the way that teams will go about defending this is they'll hold upstairs, as there is a shed ton of verticality. Every single angle can be covered from above, and that's the way defenders want to play that. So, therefore, the attackers have to go above. They have to challenge these roamers. Unless there's a couple of techs, right, that we've seen before.
Oh, yeah.
One of them could be use Capital bolts to smoke out the head holes, or the vert holes, or do the exact same thing also with the sense, which is the more common one of the two that we see.
I mean, I think it's always the thing of I like seeing teams put the pressure above. I think when people just try and get green and
more impressive, it's like you've earned that.
Doesn't really work, but this might not work either. Nomad, gone. Levy gets that opening kill. And, well, now they have to try and operate with a little bit less control of the space. Oh, no! That should have been theirs, but unfortunately, it even takes Swag out of the equation.
What is it with this game and players getting away with absolute madness?
He's done it again!
How?
He's done it again!
This... all you can do is laugh, but in the inside I'm thinking, bleach my eyes, how am I watching this?
I think, I made a joke about it before, a comment, less a joke, about talking about being on rookie watch. You kind of hope fresh and...
What was that? Wasn't even an attack. No, replay. No, that's not real. Show us the real round. That can't be the attack. No.
You hope.
Bring the TV crew out. Am I getting punked? That's not the attack. That can't be. Can't be the attack.
You hope Rookie Watch was looking away. Rough round. Rough round there to be landed, but hey, that's 2 flawlesses in a row, and I didn't spoil the surprise with my magical ball this time.
Did I win the rock, paper, scissors, by the way?
I'm sure you beat some people.
What was the majority? What was the split?
I mean, this, but then just...
It just thinks, oh, well, I may as well chance it. That's like, you think, oh, there's a car coming. Oh, should I go?
Just go.
I've won.
Just go. And then got a kill on the site as well. I mean, you couldn't be like a more like, oops moment. The butterfly effect.
What a mess.
Anyway, 3-2. And that is the tertiary site. Now we're back down to the basement. This one was... I mean, it could have gone into the favor of Dplus gear. Obviously, Bullet was in that position where if that had struck and hit gold, baby, you are rich in those hills. But unfortunately, it didn't. And then it just turned into what was actually a really scrappy end, ending in a 2 versus 1. It came down to trade game. It came down to the importance of that man advantage. And that was one that Black Dragons could sort of posture through to the end. Different approach this time. Get themselves in towards the warehouse side, have a look across towards lockers, and try and force this man out of his position.
Yeah, I still think they'll go upstairs, though, because why else would you bring the ram? You know, if you want to go horizontal, which is a viable strategy. We've seen that work plenty of times. You would take in, I would say, more shield-oriented play, because getting through into barrels and, you know, those positions in towards, you know, medical side, it's difficult. So... yeah, I think you're still going to try and go above if you can, but still going to try and take some portion of the map, mostly stemming from that garage, because it's pretty easy to get yourselves into. It's different if Loy was in that position, then you have to be careful and watch yourself.
Yeah.
The reason why he's the demon.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, I mean, pretty standard stuff here. Looks to be a full turtle.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Didn't work last time, did it? Yeah. Oh, they really want the fight, but Ask takes the head off of Bullet. There's Balls getting caught out. And now they have this control of the warehouse, but can they try and push across? As I said, it seemed like the first port of call, but with the turtle, they've still got to try and step up on towards this position. Lockers get themselves a little bit of that extra width. The ram is going to make things a bit more testy from above. But they're free to sort of get all the work done. They've done the work they needed to do up to this point. As a bit of a silence falls over the air right now, as you can see that there's a bit of worry from Dplus here. Where do we build this sort of structure? Where do we get ourselves ready for the first engagement? If they can pull one of these approaches out, maybe they can pull this together, but it's tricky.
Yeah, it looks as though every attacking round that Black Dragons have won so far is going to be in the basement, you know, which is a bit of a worry for Dplus if they're really struggling with, you know, such an integral bomb site of this map, but still, you never know. 3v5. Levy maybe could get them back on track if he gets this shotgun kill onto the sledge, but Miracle just going to wait until his team's ready.
I mean, this is the best thing to do, right? The problem is he's sort of aiming high. He's expecting to be swung from that. Nask finds Mitty, and that's going to make things even worse. Here's the drive. They have Ask watching the verticality. They have a shotgun that does get the end of Miracle. Takes the position over, but at this point, they know exactly where he is. They're going to go for the plant from the Locker's entrance. The C4 is ripped over the top and doesn't quite net anything. They pulled away. They get the cross, and they get themselves that even 3 apiece half.
Yeah, just basement is the jackpot.
Lock it in.
3 rounds off 1 bomb site. But yeah, side switch, even. I mean, again, I think it's what we expected. It is a high preference for both teams. They'll happily play it any day of the week. But this is where the side switches. And everything that kind of Black Dragons struggled against. You think about the Chanka on towards that top floor. Now they can pull out the same tricks if they want to.
Yeah, that's that sort of worry that hangs over the room. Right now, you're looking at the idea of the problems that we've seen both of these teams have throughout this series, the slower paces from Black Dragons in the opening map, they fixed massively in map 2, have brought it into map 3. Dplus Kia, in the first map, they were pretty solid. In the second map, obviously, they couldn't...
Off the rails, yeah.
Off the rails. They couldn't quite operate as a team. They kept on missing out on engagements as well, those must-kill moments. We've seen copies and versions of that at points. Now we have to see if it's been something that's still going to plague them, because the sort of moments that you look back to, think about the first round of the last map where they got the plant and just couldn't win the engagements following through. If they cannot get that locked in.
So we're not seeing the Tachanka being locked in, so a little bit different than compared to what Dplus went for, but there is an operator that was banned by Dplus, and it was for good reason. Or sorry, the Black Dragon's banned for good reason, and that is the Clash. It was not allowed to be played on the defense for Dplus. That's why then they went for the kind of Tachanka plays. We see the Clash. Now, this operator has been a hot topic today already for me, I feel, with the amount of value that we have seen this operator get. And whenever you talk about top mez, this is the place to be. A one-way corridor that you could just sit there, look at people, and we know how high traffic of an area this position is.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're always going to have an attacker come this way and deal with the Clash, and it's the same thing that we've harped on about all day. If you do not have a specific counter for this operator, it is an immovable object.
Oh yeah.
You're not getting past that.
We've obviously got the Denari, the laser tripwires, to see if they can try and trip anyone up on the approach. Where you would sort of place them, well, it's not on the stairs. We see the main stairs get popped open by a Flores, all the barbs gone, and that will be that. And they even sent the follow through to get rid of the fire extinguisher too. There will be some attention paid on towards opposites. The question that I did raise before about this top floor and Black Dragons' approach, they were quite single-minded, single-focused, a bit late on towards the rotate. Here, we're getting some of the openings done on the stairs, we're getting some of the openings done on ops, we're getting some of the pressure on towards art window, we're getting a buck underneath as well that's about to start digging. They're keeping their options open, don't
Yeah. Yeah, adaptation. Key thing that we look for in teams, and it is something that Black Dragons missed out on whenever they were attacking. Now this is something we didn't see. Utilizing the verticality from below.
Yep.
Using the buck. Be a great way of clearing out positions, such as where smoke is inside of storage. See the Blackbeard looking to get himself into said storage, but actually the buck's going to be challenged onto from his own vert angles, I believe. I mean, there's a lot happening, but there isn't a lot happening, if that makes sense what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of util being dumped, but not a lot of feet moving and taking these positions.
At this point as well, the Clash is going outside. There's the roll of the Candelas. They're trying to get themselves covered, maybe go for the hop in on towards Art Window, but as Nears gets onto Mr. Outlaw, there's that first bit of pressure. There's the second. And Dplus Kia drive themselves into the building, body after body. And position after position. That was the Blackbeard on the far side. They've got Skybridge. They've got one more. There's not another Flawless. But we're probably not a million miles away from the end of the round. Force him out, chase him off, and leave a player with a C4 just ripping and hoping. Rare. Now as a long rotate, they're just going to secure the plant and watch the stairs because, well, they have every right to. There is 4 rounds now, and we might be back towards traded. We'll have to tell you in about, I don't know, 4 minutes.
Well, that's tidy round. Very nice. From Dplus, using the Ying. Again, an operator that we usually see be banned a lot of the time. You can see the power of that operator. Just jumps in for the art window, can't challenge onto it. I wonder now that you've kind of shown your hand and you've seen that they're bringing in operators like the Ying, like the Blackbeard. Do you then just start going hard onto the counters? You know, do you look at things like a Runegates, for example?
I mean, a Runegates would have been very good there if you think about how spread out. This is the thing that you mentioned where you say, oh, they're just spending utility, but not a lot has happened, right? Yeah, and then when they went to spend the second bit of utility, they moved on it brilliantly. Maybe the first was a bit of a test. Imagine if you had a laser gate to take out just one of the things in the Candela pockets there. Then maybe the Ying isn't so confident to cover both angles. Then all of it was operating really, really well there from Dplus Kia. They approached at the same time. They made their execute happen at the same time. It felt real 3-2-1 Siege.
I just wonder what we have to do to get Wama and Jaeger some love. Because, like, where have those two guys been this event? So I don't think I've seen a single one. Maybe the odd Jaeger, but other than that, I mean...
Jaeger...
The anti-util mech just isn't here, and it's so... I think it's crazy considering the operators that are on display here already.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Yings, your Grims, think of the util dump from the smoke as well. I mean... Oh...
There's always the element where, in some ways, it's quite easy to burn utility. These are teams not scared of using a Flores to clear utility if they need to. They could jump it through and run it through the other side.
Maybe with Thatcher as well being pretty prominent.
In a really good position.
Pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot, isn't there?
So I think they're just sort of hoping that they can withstand and control the space. But instead, well, we're off to the races. Up the back of the stairs. Is anybody there? No, but Ars does find Nears in the meantime. And suddenly, Falls is alone and two of his friends are dead. Well, this hasn't quite worked out, has it? I think he's saying to himself, but he might be able to at least get one on the back of it. Swings round, and Goyo escapes the corner. And there's at least Rare caught out, though.
Smoke grenade.
What have I said about the Blitz? If you get flashed, just try and run away.
Run.
It always seems to work. Don't try and fight the guy. If you're flashed, just run the other direction and hope that it works.
Choose a fight, choose one, and choose the right one there. Swag swings onto the corner, gets his second for the round. It's kind of hoping and waiting for the third, and now the third is all that is left to Deimos. Knows the expectation, knows the engagement. Can't quite get it locked in, but he's not moving. He's not running away. He's got a friend that's coming for support. Please don't feed him one body at a time. Swag's actually just going to replace the position.
Now,
that's
hold
two.
On. Why have we done?
Slow down, slow down.
Why we gave him 1v2 Deimos?
Hold on.
Okay.
Well, he knows one person is there, and he's going to hope that that track makes him run down the stairs. But he's actually playing this quite clever here. He waited for a bit, let the timer tick away a bit more. He knows he's being tracked, but he knows he was in a safe position. You can hear the reinforcements being done, and just not able to catch the player. There's the kit being well revealed, and now what can this Deimos do? Gets the breach, gets himself an angle he can use. 40 seconds, loads of time, and a smoke canister will pop off. There's still one more in pocket. He's going to see if he can maybe try and get some damage done vertically. It's the smart move with 40 seconds. You know the power of your operator, and there's the last smoke thrown out, and it's on the door of the default plant. Look at the positions they have taken. Ask is watching from one side on towards the breach, and then Miracle has the back line. They know he doesn't really have an option of approach. He's probably going to take his hard breach, and that's already being shot at. Threaded the needle and put that round to bed.
Yeah, they got there in the end. Just took a bit of time.
It was a bit of a worry. There was a moment.
Of course there was. You don't give him the 1v4 into the 1v2.
On the same door.
I've seen it all too often. And it just ruins the night, really. See stuff like that. It does. Oh, back and forth, 4-4. Honestly, it's their for either team. It's up in the air. Really don't know how to call this. We go back upstairs, actually, which, I mean, I find, is this the play? After the last time you kind of got clean, didn't you? Last time you were up here?
Yep.
Maybe not want to try and opt for the third bomb site choice. I mean, this is the kind of same trap that Dplus fell into, where they thought, okay, we're going to go back to this bomb site rather than the third, and he lost that again. So, similarities. Just making the comparisons.
No, you're just putting it out there.
Put it out there.
You're just putting it out there. That's for them to sort of disprove you. You're not saying it's going to happen. You've written it down. I can see your writing. You've written this is going to happen, but they can't see that. Oh no, I told them. I told the audience.
Should I start doing that? Should I start doing my predictions, give it to someone?
Yeah,
and,
I think so.
You know, predict the scores.
That'd be a really impressive talent.
That's what the magicians do, isn't it? That's a form of trickery. I then have to try and go and like manipulate how the games are going to go by some form of hypnosis.
I like the idea that you have a magician.
Go into the team rooms and just MIB, the Men in Black, just flash the players and say, you're going to do this score today.
Now, we, as you said, Get ourselves back here towards the top floor, and the execute was really well pieced together here. And what would you change? Hey, what was that you asked for? Something to eat utility. Hey, what do we have? Rare in that pocket, in that position. Now, they're going to see if they can make their way forward. They forced the Blackbeard into a slightly uncomfortable position, but with the destruction that's going on, the player's still able to get away. Smart move, and a big cost on the utility.
Yeah, it just seems to be straight upstick, doesn't it? And they're moving very quickly across it. No Tachanka. So in terms of going for the plant, it is more doable when compared to the amount of utility. You know, the 20 canisters that you get. It's a big difference compared to just free smokes. So, yeah, I think the Ops could be on for it. It'll be interesting to see if they've placed any Goyos to also deny the default plant, because that could be where they've kind of backed up, not bringing the Tachanka. And I believe there probably should be one. I don't know if the Observer could maybe check to see if we've got a Goyo canister on the main breach for Ops. Just where the Izami is. Maybe, I don't know. Good.
They do. Thank you so much.
They've got the coverage, which is great to see.
One of our observers. I don't actually know who's observing for us. But we have Red Light, we have Nova, we have Sky, and we have Medics.
1 of 4, whoever it is.
Easy on in-game director. It's Red Light. Woo! Thank you very much. Now, here is a bit more of a pressure on the utility. We also have one other thing, in that you said Ying was a big problem and these flashbangs are. Warden could be that solution. Shotgun locked in, ready and waiting for the approach on our window. Here's the blinds, and Miracle's actually going to try and just poke his head out and go for the engagement against Levy. In fact, pulls back, the pressure is on the site. Fools wants to hop in and go for the plant, and there's actually Rare winning the first fight out, and that's the kick cold on the breach itself. In the meantime, the blinds are still on. The pressure of Miracle and Levy in a ring around the Rosies as Bullet goes down. A 5 versus 3. What a great response this has been from the side of Black Dragons. Now, it's time to have the response to the response, the rebuttal of a sword fight that just keeps stabbing at each other. Pressure on, and a player hopped up in a slightly off the piece place. Somehow it's a 1 versus 2, and it's back and forth, but with 10 seconds and a kick cold in the middle of the room, there's the isolation. He's waiting. Niers knows he needs the engagement. He's trying to hunt for it. Ask is well aware of this as well. Pulls himself further back and gets himself locked in 14 to 4.
Oh, a big 1v2. Able to isolate 2 engagements. I mean, the Ace was unaware. I mean, Ace was just a Satan duck. And yeah, just slowly backed his way up towards our 6 room, peels away, and then wins that 1v1 because he knows the attacker's going to be panicking, looking for that kill. Black Dragon successful on the attempt upstairs again. Wow.
So, now with this, the last set of bans that we will have float on through for this series, for this showdown. And it's kind of ones that were guessable. The Clash, again. Yeah. Yet again removed, and the Ying for how it was played, how it was operated, and it also builds into obviously the 2 bans that we've already had. The Grim, the Glaz, get rid of the Ying as well. You're limiting that play style, you're limiting that drive. And as close as that got, to be fair, you know, it was still great responses. It was still good utility changes. It was good adaptation. But here, on towards this site, well, we've only really seen it once, and I don't think you ever wanted to see it again like that.
Please no. Well, you look at the lineup straight away. Also, that is what's drawn my attention right from the get-go. I mean, whenever I think about that, are they just going to try and set up the shield on the site door and attempt to plant? Is that going to be the idea and use that as their coverage? Maybe. But it's getting into that position, which is the tricky thing. Never mind. As always, I start speaking about something, and it's well,
Austin's gone.
You know what? I'm gonna mess with them. I'm just gonna pick something else. Which is probably better operator if you're going to try and do that.
It is. You look at the sort of lineup that they got here, they're going to try and roll the sense in, but last time, you know, we sort of saw the site. We talked about getting the verticality. As I said, this wall is always the first port of call.
Yeah, I think, obviously, we've mentioned that you can skip going above. You don't have to challenge the roamers if you are bringing the sense. But one thing that you need to have, which Black Dragons definitely didn't, was control of off-green stairs.
Yes.
That was the important area that they did not have.
They tried to get it.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So, at this point, Black Dragons will do their best to lock it in on defense. Mr. Outlaw, they actually playing the operator that probably cursed the name of as they just swung their way back twice and survived either time. Midi watching from deep, hoping somebody gets the same sort of cross and there's not the instant reveal of pressure, but currently, well, there isn't any pressure. There's nothing that's forcing them into a position. They do still have a reinforcement in back pockets. They could try and lock up and re-lock up one of the sides that leads in towards green itself, and you can see that the drone pressure's coming through. There's Nears making the first bit of motion as they lock out the control above. There's the breach on towards the wall itself. The exothermic will pop its way. They have the window, they have the cross, and now they have this pressure on towards that side player, but they don't have top green outside of the gridlock track stingers.
I think that's okay, though. I think as long as you stop them utilizing green stairs, you can still use the sensors. This is the one guy, the only guy in sight. It's going to be Ask, and he gets it down.
He downs him, but obviously no real way to know that other than, well, expectation and a bit of mental math. But they can get the player up, the smoke canister. Maybe they're trying to get the kill this way. They're putting the flashes down to buy some time and just make sure he doesn't get caught out, because if you lose the sense, well, what do you really have outside of, well, nothing. Capital bolts have already been used. It's a flash. That could have been the kill that confirmed and secured the round. Instead, they have a second life. They got to make something of it. There's a bit more fire damage, a little bit more of a close position, but Ask, he's still standing. Oh, no, he's not. Caught off by Nears from the open breach, and that's what makes that position so dangerous. But the roll of the gadgetry, the wall can go up 30 seconds. They've just got to time this with the push and the pressure on towards the vertical players above. Here comes the trade of hands. It's on the hands of somebody with not a lot of health, though.
This comes down to the Solus now. How well can Rare use that gadget?
They're in, going for the plant. There's the reveal, there's the catch, there's the player. The support is perfect! Swings its way round, 4 versus 2, post-plant, doesn't get the fleeing player. And Black Dragon so close. But to be fair, Dplus Kia here, what they have done to claw this round back into their favor is massive.
Yeah, that's supposed to be done, isn't it? Everything works perfect. They use the sense, they put the pressure on the players in the verts. You know that the Solus is going to be tunnel visioned using the gadget. You hit that backstab, and that's all she wrote.
From this point onwards, obviously, we once again just keep trading rounds. And this, the third map of the third series.
Cracking map.
I mean,
hey!
Hey! Hey! Us saying that is summoned Fresh into the room now. Fresh, you have in-ears. Do you hear what we were referencing?
There's a third headset there.
Okay.
Come say hello.
No, if we get Fresh, which we probably will for a tricast at some point,
he'll work his way. He seems to find a way.
We'll have him for a full map.
He's like Jurassic Park. Life finds a way.
Hey! This is gonna turn into a new little vocal thing.
Hey! Quite good, like that.
I hope production is doing it as well. 5 apiece. That impact. Almost getting the end of that player. If that had happened,
you lose
round,
the sense. Yeah, it's cool.
You lose the sense. Yeah. That's the round, and that's the.
Because then you have to force a fight.
Oh yeah. You have no other.
You don't know where it's going to go from there.
And we look at the fact that Solus almost caught it out. We knew what the plan was, and pulled it apart. There is a web that has been weaved across the bunk.
Sometimes I love, whenever we call, we're going to have the souls above. Yeah. If we know it, surely the players. If our 2 brain cells can figure this out.
This is art. Not on the map. It's art in.
I'd take a picture of that and get that down just down the road.
If I saw my teammate doing that, and I would be like, "What are you doing?" and they're like, "Shh, having fun."
Do you think if you went to the Louvre with just a paint, what would they say?
They'd probably be like, "You can't come in.
You're banned for life. How dare you?"
But at the Musée d'Orsay, maybe. At this point, this first engagement might be something that really drives home. And to be fair, I've talked about Ask having a great game. Levy on the other side of it as well. Now on this Rara roll has also been sort of matching that meter, matching the step and putting the pressure on. This door was the site of much pain. Not this time.
I really like the addition here of the Monty. I think now whenever you're getting into the nitty-gritty 5-5, you want to try and control the game as best you can.
Yes.
And that's what the Monty's going to bring you. It's going to bring you that stability. Great pick. I mean, obviously didn't know, but there's no C4s. There's nothing that's going to upset him from below, because there's always that risk. If you're playing the shield and you're hunting roamers, what happens if information gets fed and there's a pre-play C4? That's always a worry that you have, but he doesn't have to worry about that whatsoever. And Impact, what's that going to do? What, 5 HP?
Ow. Okay, I continue. They're going to try and get the buck shotgun here, close on the fight on the left, but do they know about that other swing round? There's a player around the back, they don't! Well, he makes art in one room and he paints a bloody picture in a corridor. And he's looking to see if he can try and set fire to the rocket as two players are still drifting around aimlessly in space, but he doesn't need the support right now. They've got the Monty a little bit cornered, a little bit slowed, Demo.
Yeah, and I like this from Swag. They know that they have to come to him, and he's going to take the opportunity to just go back to the bomb site. The Deimos not in a position to stop that rotation. I mean, the Monty, yes, is still up, but you need to get guns moving now. You need to start getting kills. The Monty isn't going to do it by himself.
I guess it's always the thing where you can't expect where he's going to go. He might just sit there and waste time, but you can't assume he's not going to go for the rotate. You can't be in a position to not capitalize on something that the trade game, hey, that's that big T at the end of cost. It's just as important as the I said you've had a good game. Had to that a lucky one as well. Pulls themselves away. Now you can see it's fervently being watched from the opposite swing. The verticality means nothing to this man. Gets himself round. Everybody's in pain. But I think most of it is for our third flawless of this map.
Woo! Keep going. Do another one.
I'm not gonna try and work out the rest of it, but it is fun to just go, woo!
Yeah. So, obviously a flawless. I mean, I think that all stems from that first little mess up. And
so,
oh,
Thermite
I'm gonna
and all the shields are open. Maybe we can play the cheat. We can open the mask and then we can play the cheat. Because there's no electricity and there's no mirror, even the clash. So, yeah, just think about the Goyo.
Ok.
Don't try to plant, just try to kill him, try to eliminate.
Ok. Tá, galera, se liga. Mano, realmente, o que ele tá falando faz sentido. Eu acho que se a gente faz o G2zinho ali, vai dar bom. Mas, mano, vamos fazer o seguinte, vamos tentar explotar essa mira. Se a gente não vê mira, a gente faz G2, tá? Senão eu posso estar. Basicamente isso. Esses caras estão jogando bem pra trás, eles estão, tipo, bem com medo de jogar a partida. Então, tipo, vamos jogar um pouco mais acelerado, tá ligado? Pegar um pouquinho mais pra cima. A gente tá preocupado os caras dando costa na gente, os caras estão só ganhando tempo.
Bora, falso. Bora, guys.
So I'm guessing you understood half of that again.
Again?
Oh, wow. It's weird how that keeps happening.
This was the bit. How has that been allowed? You know, is it a case of a misdrone, which again, should not be happening? You know, the information should be there. Especially when it's not a surprise that Black Dragons were going to roam. No, I love. If I was on the other side, I'm hearing the enemy.
I'm fighting
yeah. Not great.
10 seconds to go.
The thing is, obviously, they, you know, if you're unaware of how it works, you've got your in-ears for the game, and then you've got white noise outside. You'll probably hear a little.
You will hear.
Little thing.
And especially with some certain individuals.
Very loud.
One of M in particular, straight away, SSG boy, Mr. Ashen.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Tim Ace of Pyrite.
I mean, we've actually had noise complaints to the people across the road because Tim was in here earlier.
Yeah. There's people in Paris that are like,
people on the 12th floor been saying, can you keep it down? 12th floor?
Yeah.
Come on.
Now, one of the calls was get a shield in. Don't focus on the plant. Focus on the kills. Focus on trying to meet them at their metal, and this is the place they're going to go for it. Instead of this site where we've talked about the sense and the importance, they're going to just try and kill them instead. Fair enough, it might work. They're expecting probably another sense play, and instead you can try and build behind what is this, a quick approach. The fight on the bottom of Rocket Stairs doesn't happen. Instead, elsewhere via the armory towards where the previous bit of pain happened. And there is somebody waiting. Ask, I believe that was trying to just get that first cut.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look as though it's going to be the same attack. I think it's going to be more of a fight for upstairs, isn't it? The way that they're gearing up, you know, with the shield in the position. Yeah, they have to be going upstairs. I mean, realistically, though, whenever you think about that fight that happens, you need to be approaching it from more than just one direction. You need to be hitting these players upstairs from everywhere.
Yep. Now, they've got themselves in on towards green stairs, and you talked about it before. If you're going to go for the take where you just cover the verticalities and go for the plant, well, you need full green. They have the first bit of that. Oh, they also have Mr. Outlaw. Goodbye, knocked out. There's the second. And, well, just kill them might be the MO of this round that pulls them back together. 5 versus 3 with a minute. They have at least a Blackbeard with some sensitive control, but they're the one with the kit. They don't really want to get themselves caught out. Still applying the pressure because, well, we know they're not going for the game. There's one more. Rare is caught out. They have a back to the push. This should just be an easy close down.
Yeah, just get the kills. Backstab comes in as well from the Dokkaebi. Goes the wrong way, though. Went over towards Office instead, but don't really think it makes a difference. Miracle now exposed themselves. There's no way out of this position. Gonna be holding the door. No opportunity to stop this defuse going down. The red pink, sure, it's there, but never really gonna help it. And here we go.
Here we go, overtime. Don't know if it's the first overtime of the day. Or the tournament. It's not.
No, sorry.
It's not. There was one. Oh, of course there was one in Designated game. Sorry, I forgot. Anyway, we find ourselves there after what has been a long series. It's not quite over, not quite yet. 6 apiece here, and I mean, with how even this game has been, with how the traded games have come together and these traded rounds especially, set sort of at the halfway mark, I wanted to see growth from both these teams. Definitely have. And regardless of who sort of wins this one or loses this one, you really feel like they'll get their teeth into the progression of this group.
Yeah. Overall, it's been a great series. I think great things for both teams to take away from.
Yep.
Obviously, there's stuff that you want to forget, especially if you Dplus and you look at that labs, especially. I mean, that needs to be sorted. But in terms of Lair, I mean, we said both teams will play this. Both teams, they like this map.
They love it.
So at the moment, it's going the way that we kind of expected it that it would. So here we go. Into the basement. Black Dragons on the defense. Dplus over on the attack. A full operator change.
Full lineup. Full lineup
change.
swap.
Attackers'
What did they expect, and what else do they get from their expectations here? I guess it's going to be the drive. Doubling down on the stuff. They want to make sure the verticality is something they have full control on, because we've seen it slip away from them time and time again. More and more people are showing up in this casting room, but actually Milosh has delivered us delicious French treats. So, thank you, Milosh. We also have Foxay in the corner here, but he's too cool for school. Damn him. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Doubling down on the verticality. They're getting themselves, we've seen it, as I said, a bit of a cost for some of these approaches before. People will get caught out, people will get apart, and the first bit is a pressure of a shield that wants to swing round and not get caught out. Monty, I'm not going to say it's been a dependent, as I have before for some other teams, but it's something that they need to try and keep some friends nearby.
Reloading. No panic Monty's here. That's what we don't want to see.
Yeah.
Look, at the moment, it's slow and steady off an approach. Now actually going to be looking to open up in towards Garage, so they will also be forcing in the horizontal take in towards barrels, but I mean, pretty heavily defended. 2 defenders are down here, make that just the 1 now, as Swag has been picked off, and was he really under any pressure there? I mean, just to give himself up?
The first body gone with the Monty rolling in and another smoke canister burning.
He's no way.
Sidestepping his way in, but he somehow gets him ask! For all the compliment is paid, unfortunately there always has to be somewhere for that uprise to go, and oh no. Dplus Kia, they have just pushed and brutalized their way across this basement. Looking for the sole miracle, but a miracle is both all they have and what they need desperately here. Black Dragons hoping to keep themselves one step ahead. The Deimos is the track, they know where one is. They're just feeding the information. A premonition comes true. But unfortunately, so does reality.
Oh, Ask, I really... I'll have to ask him.
You'll have to
What was he doing? And the thing is, Ask has had a stellar game.
Oh yeah,
15 and 7 is where he lands. But if they lose this, that's the only moment we'll remember. And that is the harsh reality of it. That is just life in a nutshell.
It's one of those sort of moments there where took a risk, through all the smoke, knew he had to win the fight. And what he had was, unfortunately,
A gente virar pra defesa, a gente vai fazer a do CEO lá com o cara com 3 trap e o Harry correndo embaixo. Só que agora o negócio é o seguinte, foca na minha voz, bomb CEO. O que eu quero? Eu quero bloco o comando, só que, mano, eu quero que a gente abra a máscara e depois disso, quando a gente tiver naquele step que a gente fez ali, comando, escada, e tiver pronto pra clicar ou pra splitar, eu não quero que a gente split banheiro. Eu quero que a gente split o Tilau jogando pra virar o L e um cara jogando exit, tá ligado? Esse cara pode ser inclusive você, tá, Miro? E deixa o corredor pro swag que ele vai subir a escada principal. Pegou? Então, se for bomb de baixo, eu quero que a gente previa semi-garagem, um pouco mais lento, tá ligado? Pra ver, porque, tipo assim, a gente tem muito mais moldagens confortáveis nesse ataque do que no outro. Então, tipo, pra nós vai ser melhor, saca? E no bomb do Beliche, mano, eu só quero que a gente faça direto o bomb o mais lento possível, tá ligado? Mate o cara da bomb e clique. Perfeito?
Tá bom.
Beleza. Show. Perfeito. Só respirar, guys.
Show. Bora aí. Bora aí, sei lá. Bora.
Okay, did you understand half of that?
I promise you, Eminem is getting worried. Honestly, he just... Oh, fast talkers, eh?
I mean, as fast as you like. Okay.
Makes you look like a rookie.
I know, I need to... Do you know who always looks chillin'? Apart from Fox, eh? Levy. He's just so calm.
And he's 16-7 as well.
16-7, and every time it cuts to him, it looks like he's thinking about
Bomb located by
for dinner.
attackers. 10 seconds.
So nonchalant.
Currently, he's been having black dragons. I wonder if he was nonchalant in his photos.
Would dragon? I don't think that's. Would that be a nice thing to eat?
I've never eaten dragon.
No,
so I
nor
couldn't tell
have
you.
I.
Probably a coarse meat.
Bit spicy? No.
Ooh, yeah. Did they ever cover that and how to train?
Bit of heartburn.
Another mag.
Another mag. It's a necessary thing to know. Thank you.
Right. Where are we? Top floor. I mean, this is now where we went all the way back. Dplus on the defense, and take your mind back a very long time ago than whenever we seen this top floor last be played by Dplus, and it was the Tachanka play. That's what worked out really well for them. It's going for that time denial. So it's all about pace here. I feel for Black Dragons, it's how quickly they can set themselves up ready for an execute where the Tachanka will not become a factor. But we need to see a better adaptation game from them. You know, if they do hit a roadblock, we need to see them maneuver around it.
Pressure on towards Ops. And Ask, the man who's done so much on this third map, just needs to do a little bit more. And the fact that he is, the only one positive. Rare isn't a million miles away, but it's the divide that becomes massive on the other side of it. Levy's gone huge, but Nears is up there, Falls is up there. When Dplus Kia is one, they've done it as a full team, and all they have to do is try and shut down at this point at Capitao. Off on towards his job on the far side. Fully locked in. The Kaid will make sure that that wall can at least be contested a bit longer, play against the time and play against the Tachanka, who can try and set all the floor ablaze. There's still second guesses on the control they have. You can see Swag started up towards Mez and then suddenly went, oh, well, maybe someone's putting behind. Maybe I need to go do this buck. Maybe there's a flank coming through, and it's an unfortunate time to lose that pace, that sharpness. I complimented them on about how they'd learn and rebuild. Now, unfortunately, they're trying to have to rebuild. Where is it? Thank you. Says towards his teammate. Oh, no, he does, and there he does. Still.
I mean, 50 seconds. We were only open on the breach. We haven't even got the other breach opened yet. If you cannot jump in through this. This is a death trap because you're going to get slaughtered by anyone. He'll just be sat holding an angle, mostly coming in from display room. That's where you're going to get absolutely melted from. So that's going to be a no-go. I am struggling to see where this plant's going to come from.
Well, in 30 seconds, it's got to come from somewhere, and that's all that they can try and hope. The roll of the gadgetry is C4 ripped and ready to go as everything starts to be on fire, and now it's up for us to go towards the races. The Capitao tries to force out and fire with fire. Sometimes it'll work, I guess, is the MO, but nobody's moved into the site apart from Rare. He makes his mad dash across, and he's going to go for the plant itself in the default position, hoping they've forced the Tachanka out. There's the C4 miss, but there's the player caught, pushed out by the fire. No, you're out of time. They're going to try and go for one more. The kit is down. The players follow suit. Dplus Kia are the ones that are able to take this showdown. Old rivals in some ways, old teammates in another. But what you can say is that old adage, Brazil is pretty bloody good at Siege.
Oh, they are. And that was a really good map. I mean, that is a top layer as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, just couldn't adapt. Same thing that they struggled with.
Both teams performed brilliantly, but as you said, that last little bit, Dplus Kia are the flower that blooms beautifully. And they will take that victory in that 3-map series. Everything was needed though, and also lessons to be learned too. But with all that said and done, you know, it's always still locked in, right? Only one team will get eliminated from this stage 1. Only one team will get itself further. And they have themselves good. But we are also good as we go towards a quick break.